let's see now. Hello. How's everybody doing? Making sure that everything's working so well. It's been a hot minute, but that's also normal for me. Going long periods of time in between bouts of streaming. Hold up. Waiting for everything to kind of catch up with where I'm at. And hey, look, I'm early for once. How rare is that? Very rare. Anyway, I was doing an audio test. Is this it? Did it sound okay? I'm just playing this so that you guys can hear the music and see if it's too loud or see if it's, because we're gonna listen to a little bit of it, but I'm mostly gonna have it like playing in the background as we talk about stuff. Although, you know, I probably won't have the stuff where they're talking playing in the background because that'll be really distracting. My buddy. Voice is a little quiet. Okay, hold on. I can turn that part up. We'll go a little bit. Is that better? Is that better? It's a desktop audio I'm always a little bit worried about. That one I can never get right. Okay, good. So, so okay, I'm not usually this late. Usually I'm like a day late or something like that. I'm a couple days late at this point. The thing is, I've kind of had the month from hell in terms of just like everything wants my attention. And it's been a bit of a ride. I've lost a lot of time working on projects that didn't pan out for one reason or another, and that put me really behind. So nothing new there, I guess. I did finish putting together all of the audio for a theory today, which should be out before this patch ends, if I'm lucky. And it's one I'm pretty happy with. It's gonna be a bit of a doozy. I found a way to get 3 world structure theories to all work together at once, but it's not actually a world structure theory. It's a world creation theory, I guess, is a better way to put it. So, yeah. I was having a month of Bennett luck. I had gas leaks. I had all the family in the world that I have come to visit during a 2-week span, and all of them required some time. And then a funeral to go to, among other things. And yeah, a couple of accelerated home renovation projects that I had to do because winter is approaching. So yeah, behind. I'm back. Just to give you context about how busy it's been, I only watched the live stream this morning. So, anyway, it's been a time. I actually missed the last event, the combat event. I totally missed it. I thought, oh yeah, I've got time to like wait. I'll do it on the last day, and then when I remembered to do it, it was a day and a half late. Which is very unusual for me. I think that's the first event I've missed. So yeah, it's been a hot minute. Oh, you haven't watched the live stream at all yet? Oh wow. Aw, thanks, Samanu. I appreciate that. That's nice of you. Are you guys, wait, have a lot of you not watched it? If a lot of you haven't watched it, I think we should at least watch the trailer. It's only 2.5 minutes. I mean, we're gonna go through it a few times, but maybe we should just watch this really quickly. Am I pulling for Shilonen? Yes. Shilonen? I'm not quite sure where the intonation goes there. I'm collecting geo characters at this point, I've realized, because the only one I don't have is Navia, and so if I just pick up Navia, then I'll have them all. So I may as well just make a collection of it. Yeah. The English trailer did start with the... Yeah, always does.
Concerns for a long time. Mavuika's plan needs too much time.
This might be a bit quiet.
Too many things can go wrong.
I'll turn it back down.
So, specifics aside, the Pyro Archon confirmed the Gnosis can resolve the crisis, but it comes at a huge price.
This is a distress signal for the Masters of the Nightwind. So Auroron was indeed
Doesn't
being
look like we're
threatened.
getting new areas to explore this time around, though, which is a little surprising.
We're already off to a rocky start here.
Shillidan just seems so fun. Like, as a conceptual character. She's like a roller derby DJ blacksmith.
Letting brave names echo!
If she's trying to finish that ancient name, there's only one place she could go.
His soul is temporarily restrained by us, and it
Oh, we're
appears
gonna
to
talk about
become
this in a
more
second.
fragile in the process.
Do we know what her ancient name is? I don't think so. We can look it up.
In the event that a confrontation becomes inevitable, I'll stall the captain while you advance.
And once you've learned the truth that the Pyro Archon Mavuika would never willingly share with you, you may just find it in your heart to consider my proposal. We have
Trying
to
to
make
figure
the
out what's
decision
the story
for
quest and what's not here.
and now.
A land without the Lord of the Night, without the protection of the wolves, is doomed from the start.
You presume too much. Humanity's survival is worth any price.
Charge! Let's give them everything we've got!
Natlan must pay the price, and only Mavuika's death can clear the debt.
All I wanted was to see her again.
My end will not come first, and I'm not giving up.
If I could go back, I would do whatever it took to ensure their survival. You've experienced something similar, Mavuika. You should know exactly what I mean.
And that's it. There's actually not... Look, guys, look. Do you see him? Do you see my baby Deshret? My little Little tiny baby Deshrets. Okay. I'm good. Okay. Right. So there's a bit to break down here. I'm not totally settled on my thoughts, probably because I just came out of deep theory writing hibernation, and it's kind of messing with my perception of a few things that's in here that may or may not actually be the case. I feel like I need a bit of a reset, so hopefully this will help. The JP community used the EN trailer to confirm that the voice at the end is Capitano, because in JP his cadence changed a lot. Oh, interesting. So you mean like the voice direction of Capitano changed depending on where it was in the trailer? That's interesting. Oh, you know what I just realized about that thing? I just realized this thing, this didn't even occur to me. I was just looking at it. That thing is actually this thing. How interesting. I wonder why it looks so different. Seems like Natlan is sacrificing their ability to reincarnate, which ties into the recent summer event with Constellation Metropole and stuff. Yes. Yeah. So what I took away from this trailer and what I was trying to figure out when it came to Mavuika and Capitano, like why they were so at odds with each other, or why, because like we didn't really get to see anything of Capitano in 5.0. Like we saw him fight and say a couple lines, but like we didn't get anything really from that. So it seems like he is quite firmly on the side of humanity, which would mean destroying the rules, obviously, and and potentially destroying the Lord of the Night, which I also want to talk about here in a second. Whereas Mavuika seems to think that saving the Lord of the Night might be a higher priority and may still be able to save humanity, but like it's riskier. High risk, high reward kind of bet. Whereas it seems like Capitano might be a bit more safe, like trying to play it a bit safer. Your goofiest theory is that Capitano is in Fortis Albrecht. That would be funny. There's a lot of people who are connecting to Capitano to Kaya, specifically because of like his sword fighting style and stuff. But like, I guess for me, I don't know if it's necessarily like they would have a direct connection, because like if he is someone like Arundelen, or the, you know, Bloodstained Knight, then he would be connected to Mondstadt swordsmanship anyway, so it makes sense if they had similar swordsmanship. If they're Conrian, it also still kind of makes sense, you know. So like I feel like there would be a connection. I'm not sure how direct it is. We'll see. What chess piece is the Pyro Gnosis? I'm still firmly in the camp that all of the Gnosis are kings. All of them. I don't think any of them are different chess pieces. I think they're all kings of their own board. Because if you think about it, like, why would they be different pieces? I know they're like representing different pieces on Pierro's chessboard when he's playing chess, but like, I feel like they're just substitute pieces, like they've been demoted to those pieces. I don't think that they're actually supposed to be those, but, you know. Who's the Lord of the Night Kingdom? Okay, we can start there if you want. Okay, so let me get situated here. Where's the... Okay, we're going to go here for a second. So I want to show you something. Here it is. I'm going to have to try and remember how to spell... Oh, wait, no, it's not this. Maybe it is. Hold on. I need to try and remember. I'm not a very good speller because dyslexia sometimes kicks my butt. Why is it doing that? I don't like autofill. You're making my life difficult here, buddy. T-L-E-Y-A-O. Y. I can't spell, okay? No, go away. It's not what I wanted. I probably am not spelling these right. I wonder if they have it already. Oh. Okay, this wasn't the thing I was thinking of. I was thinking of something else. Okay, so I was thinking of something else. So something that this one. So this is kind of what I think they're pulling from when we talk about the Lord of the Knights, right? Or, sorry, the Lords of the Night, because there are multiple lords and only one knight, not multiple knights and one lord. I was looking at this, and I am certainly not alone. There are 9 of these in Aztec mythology. This one in particular should raise a couple of flags here, because Tlaloc is the Aztec version or like equivalent of Cha'ak and Maya mythology, right? And so if you start like kind of going up the list, if you start going up the list, you're going to see very quickly that the a lot of these apply to the tribes of Natlan. And there are only 6 tribes, and so there's 3 that are kind of left over. And part of me is wondering if the quote-unquote Lord of the Night is just going to be a almost like the super Wyab, you know? Because like if each tribe has their own Wyab, which is like a collective conscious of their undead, right? And they're kind of like hanging out in the abyss, and or not, well, in the Night Kingdom. We can debate the abyss connection if you'd like. And if you look closely here at this symbol, we have the tribe symbols around the center and then like a flame in the middle of it. What I'm wondering is like if this is like the soul of the Lord of the Night, and like all of the Wyabs and the Saurians are like fragments of them. And so it's like a collective. Anyway. That was a very convoluted way of saying it. That wasn't what I was... The War of Fire was not what I was looking for earlier. I misremembered. Takes me a minute. Night Kingdom, Sea of Memoria. Yeah, something like that. 9 gods fused into one, or each Wyab connects into the Lord of the Night. I don't think it necessarily matters, like, the mechanics of it. I mean, I think it's impossible to predict the exact mechanics of how it would work, whether someone's been, like, fragmented, or if the Lord of the Night is just what you call the moment when they all kind of work together, or if everyone has to work together in order to summon the Lord of the Night because they're pillars of their strength, kind of like Captain Planet, if you guys know what that is. I thought Lord of the Night kind of like Mini Durin's mother, Mage M. No, I don't think so. I think the Lord of the Night is a shade of death, but you could be wrong. I mean, maybe. Captain Firmament, yeah. Lord of the Night is Paimon. Yeah, so I'm a little I have some biases right now as for how I view the Night Kingdom and how I think about the stuff that's in here. And I'm trying not to air too much on those biases, but I'm looking at this, and then I'm looking at this thing, which is the same thing, and it looks like a little Deshret star in the sky, and Deshi was all about these little hive minds and the golden slumber and the abyss and forbidden knowledge and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like, I'm okay, to be clear, I'm not saying it's him. I'm looking at repeating themes and patterns, okay? Looking at repeating themes and patterns. So, like, if this is, like, related to a shade of death, or a super Wyab consciousness, or even the soul of the Pyro sovereign, for all we know, I still think, like, the fundamental principles apply, if that makes sense. Maybe Deshret and the Night Kingdom have similar, if not the same origins. I mean, they could. No, I'm not. It's definitely not Deshret. I know where he is. It's like a whole different thing. I don't know where this is, though. This is like, oh, no, not that. I don't know where this is. That's what I'd like to know. Okay, this has to be from Shilinen's story quest, because that is a Tepetlasaur right there, I think. Isn't it? Looks like one. Definitely looks like one. Any thoughts on the Pyronosis? Not really. I still think all of the Gnosis are kings. I don't think they're all individual different chess pieces. I really don't. Which lore do you think corresponds to which tribe? I think it's debatable. I would say, like, obviously this one is the Children of the Springs. See, like, I could argue for Heart of the Mountains and Maze God for the Echoes tribe. I can argue both of these. So I'm not going to really, like, pick one. And I could also see... Well, Mictlan, we actually have a name for. Wait, which one was Mictlan? I forgot. I forgot which one was Mictlan. I don't like ads, so I've been on here. Oh, that's Masters of the Nightwind. Okay. If you go to antifandom.com, you can get all the same information from the Genshin Impact wiki, but without ads. Which is kind of nice when you aren't using something that has a good ad blocker in it. Isn't the Collective of Plenty the farming tribe? No, not really. I mean, they're Dendro, but, like, I don't think they have a history of farming, do they? Not that I know. So Mictlan, as you can see, is actually, like, here in the name. I thought they might be from Smoking Mirror for the Nightwind tribe, but like I said, you can kind of argue both of these. I'm thinking that the Turquoise Lord here is probably just going to be the Pyro Archon. Turquoise being, like, the blue flames that show up in the Sacred Flame kind of thing. And then I'm not really sure about the rest, honestly. You can kind of make... I feel like we need to meet the other tribes before I kind of go through here. Heart of the Mountains, actually. Well... Yeah, I think we have to meet the other tribes. The Collective of Plenty. Oh, yeah, sorry. No, you're right. You're right. I don't know why I was thinking of Scions of the Canopy when you said Collective of Plenty. My head was in Kenichi's tribe and not in a Janssen's tribe. Okay, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. That would make more sense. Let's look them up, actually. Let's look them up real quick. Let's see what their other name is, or if we even know. It doesn't seem like we know. Okay, well, that's fine. I just wanted to see if that had been released. I hadn't looked into it. Doesn't seem like it has. But if it's State of Fertile Lands in Chinese, or Country of Fertility, yeah, I guess that would make sense. Collective of Plenty, Horn of Plenty. I guess you could put that over here. But yeah, so this is probably the theme they're going for with the Lord of the Night stuff. That's my guess. How can there be multiple kings on a board? It's because it's not one board, it's 7 boards. Teyvat is a chessboard, but each nation is its own chessboard. And each nation is led by a king or an emperor or a leader or a president or, you know, like whatever. They're always led by someone who's like at the highest level of authority, right? Like a singular ruler that makes them essentially a king. So like, and they also have the thrones of the Dragon Kings. And I know that's not really connected to the Gnosis, but like, come on. It doesn't make sense to me if you rank the Gnosis as different chess pieces. Because different chess pieces have different values, and also they're the wrong number. Right? Because you need 8 chess pieces plus pawns if you want to go pawns. So like, and if you want to do one of each, like you're still doing the wrong number. And like none of them look like a pawn or anything. Like the only 2 that look like they could be different chess pieces are the first 2 Gnosis we ever saw. The rest of them don't look like they could ever be anything else, to me anyway. You could argue that because it's boxy, it could be a rook. I don't agree. But this is my opinion. The Archons are on the same level of authority-wise to Celestia, right? I mean, they answer to Celestia, but this game also has a theme of like having kings and then having a king of all the kings. Like, for example, in the desert of Sumeru, during the nation-state era, there were like 7 tribes, each with their own king, and then there was like a central king that ruled over all of the nations and the kings. So it's kind of like having, I don't know, well, yeah, that is what it is. And then we also, even if you look at the dragons, right? Like you have 7 dragon kings, and then you have King Nibelung, who, as far as we know, is not counted among the kings. So he should be the sovereign of sovereign, or the king of kings, which is honestly also a real thing, right? Like this is a real concept, which is kind of what I think they're going for. So I think Celestia is more like the king of all of the kings. And that's why I think the Gnosis themselves are king pieces. The characters that you meet in each nation should be a bit more corresponding to the individual chess pieces, in my opinion. But I also think that whatever chess piece you play depends on the game. So your role could change. Like maybe, but the role of an Archon never changes. They're always the king. You capture the king, you win the game. Right? It's not like if you capture the bishop in Sumeru of another nation, suddenly you win the game. That doesn't make any sense. You have to get the king. Checkmate. But weren't there multiple Gnosis on Pierro's checkboard? Yes, there were. But this is where I think we get really hung up on details that I don't think matter. And again, this is my opinion, but hear me out on this. Pierro has his own chessboard, and that chessboard was playing a very specific game from Deep Blue. Hold on. Pierro was playing a very specific game from 1996 between a chess master and an AI chess spot, okay? And he was reenacting those moves. And on the board, there were two gnosis because he was playing a game in two nations. You know what I mean? So in that way, those chess pieces had been demoted on his game board into playing the roles of certain pieces on that board. It doesn't necessarily mean that on their own boards, like in Liyue or in Mondstadt, that they would represent those same things. You see what I'm saying? Now, because he was playing a very specific game from here, and you'll notice that there are 6 games that were played, the assumption with this theory was that he would be playing the first game. Pierro was playing the first game in Mondstadt and Liyue because they were kind of lumped together. And then match 2 would have been in Inazuma. Match 3 would have been in Sumeru. Match 4 would have been in Fontaine. Match 5 would be in Natlan. And match 6 would be in Snezhnaya. And then that would give us our 7. You see what I'm saying? So each time he could be replacing pieces on his own board with the gnosis as he collects them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the gnosis are actually carved in the shapes of those pieces. I think that's a red herring. Anyway, details do matter. Details do matter, but the thing is you can't get caught up in every single detail, right? Like some of the books in the game are not true. Some of them are actually false. Some of them are meant to mislead you, and that's the point. Some of the things that happen in the game are also meant to mislead you. Some of the things people say are meant to mislead you. Think about how the Harbingers describe each other and how people interpreted what that meant about what their character would be like, right? Like there's a lot of biases that are built into all of the details, and that's kind of the point. From Pierro's perspective, different gnosis could be at certain levels of value on his chessboard, right? And he will assign them such a value and such a role as he sees fit. But on the whole, that doesn't mean that that's what those chess pieces are in actuality, right? Because on the one hand, you've got Pierre looking at them with his own bias, and on the other hand, you've got just what they are objectively. And that's why I keep saying I don't think that they are different chess pieces, and I do think that they're all kings. You're free to disagree with me on that if you want to, but this is my opinion. Why the 6 not be the other nations and not including Snezhnaya? It is including Snezhnaya. Snezhnaya is game 6. I just said that. Mondstadt and Liyue are combined in the first match because we got Mondstadt and Liyue at the same time in the game. You kind of play them at once. Mondstadt is also the prologue, not chapter 1. So it makes sense there. Deep Blue Fate confirmed. No. Long ass prologue. It's literally called the prologue. Yes, it's a new game of chess in each nation. It's not a continuation. That's right. So see, this is a match. A match consists of 6 games. Whoever wins the best of 6 wins the match. That's how it works. So in this case, we're playing one match over the course of 7 nations, and there are 6 games within that match. Who's playing as the AI in the match, the Fatui or the Archons? The AI is the Archon side, so Celestia's side. I do have a whole video about this if you actually... I don't know why I actually spent so much time on this. I should have just linked you guys the video in the chat. I got a whole thing on it. I did make one. Even if they are different, what do we interpret from that? Is the interpretation that we power scale Venti over Zhongli because King over Rook seems reductive. Yeah, that's kind of my point, right? Why would there need to be a game played in Snezhnaya? Okay. Look who wins each of these matches. there's a distinct possibility here that one of the Gnosis does not go to the Saritsa. Or that game 6 is the game where you have all of the Gnosis, but the goal isn't to collect the Gnosis anymore, right? The goal is to do whatever they're going to do with the Gnosis. So I'm going to assume that that's something like Project Stuja, right? So once you have all of the pieces that you want, you've played all of the games, you've run through the cycle, now you actually have to, like, sign the contract. You got to clinch the deal, right? Isn't Venti the strongest Archon? No, he calls himself the weakest. Although if he is the weakest Archon, that could be an argument that he is the king piece and everyone else are the different pieces. That is distinctly possible because the king is the weakest piece in the whole game. So it depends on how you look at it. I've kind of, you know, stated my opinion on it, and I mean, if anyone else has a different one, that's totally fine. The realization is hitting me, the Electronosis looks like a Shogun. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, someone's already said this. I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. But, like, there's a better shot of this later, I think. Or maybe there isn't. I might be imagining it. Oh, I think it just zoomed in a little.
There's only one place you...
So if you look at this Gnosis here, you'll notice that it's got that little sun crown, right? If you look at... This is a stupid thing to look at, actually. What I should do is look at, like, something more like this. This isn't actually even going to be a very good one, is it? These aren't going to be very accurate either. Okay, well, the point I was going to make, and I'm not going to be able to find a good reference for this, I just know it. I'm going to have a really hard time with it. The point is that each nation has their own sort of, like, headdress or crown, and then the Gnosis pieces actually represent that. You know, like the Electro one does look like a Shogun. Venti's looks like, you know, an Arthurian style European sort of standard gold crown, as we would assume. Kind of looks like Princess Peach, honestly. One of those comically simplified crowns. Zhongli looks like a bit more of a Chinese emperor with the boxy crown. We don't know what Sumeru's looks like, but now that we know what we don't know what Fontaine's looks like. But now that we know what Natlan's looks like, we know that they have the sun disk behind them, and the sun disk, in a lot of ways, is how you would decorate someone who's ranked very highly. I mean, just naming someone after the sun elevates their status. So that's the way I see it. If Xbalanque exists, where is Hunahpu? That's what I would like to know. I would love to know that. That'd be great. I would love to know why they keep telling us the story of Seven Macaw, too, because that is in 3 places now, as far as I can tell. I don't know why they like that myth so much, but it's driving me crazy. How many times do they need to give us a myth about someone, like, replacing their teeth with corn? It's very strange. It's very strange. I got really sidetracked here, actually. Like, really sidetracked. So something I wanted to bring up. Obviously, I have my own biases. So I'm going to put that out there really quick before I say this. Did anyone actually take a really close look at this door? Because when this door lights up gold, this looks just like the Geo symbol. Which is funny, because it's a dragon door. I just finished writing a theory about it. So I had it on my head, on my brain. It was really frustrating for me. So when I went through the Archon quest, I noticed it light up when we were going through the door, but my camera only got like the lower half, so you can barely see it. And I'm just like, wait, I want to go back and look at it, but the door like disappears. So having a clear shot like this is so nice. Yeah. Oh, they should remind you of Geo. You'll find out why. And the Pins quest kept screaming. Well, I mean, the Pins quest is in the Geo region too, so like that's it. That's fine. Do you still think Capitano could be Hunahpu? I mean, I don't know. I'm not quite sure where they're going with him, honestly. Like, obviously he didn't play the war games the way I initially predicted, which is fine. You miss all the shots you don't take. Oh, there's the better shot of it. I knew there was one. It was just like in a really quick cut somewhere. You hope he's a dragon? I'm not sure he'll be a dragon. I mean, that'd be kind of neat if he was like the burned out embers of a dragon. That'd be really cool. Some versions of the My Hero Twins mythology, Hunahpu does not exist and was added in later versions. It's a bit crazy. Really? Oh, thanks for the super, by the way, White Kaneko. I was distracted by your Hunahpu comment. I didn't know that. What do you know the source for that? You thought Capitano was mortal, or was that false info? I think it's suggested that he's mortal. I don't know that it's been... Oh, I guess there's one right here. It says citation needed. Well, that's not helpful, Wikipedia. The catchy image of the sun and moon where he is hunting for deer, metaphor for making captures, and capturing the daughter of the earth deity. In these cases, Hunahpu has no role to play. Well, that's not quite the same thing. I'd love a source though. That'd be nice. Well, either way, the thing is like there are 2 Hunahpus here, right? Like, because there's 1 Hunahpu and 7 Hunahpu. I think it's 7 Hunahpu. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, my best friend citation needed. That'd be so nice. Give me citations. I've seen some people suggest that Capitano might be Mavuika's dad. Because we didn't see him in the flashback, but he's in like that photo, which would make him like an undead sort of thing. Like maybe he came out from the depths of the Night Kingdom. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, mortal and human are not the same thing. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Didn't only Varka say he was mortal? I mean, Varka might be assuming he's mortal. We can find out. I don't remember that. I remember the blue eyes, and I remember that he has a nose. Oh, there's more down here. There we go. Does it actually say mortal? I don't want to read this. It doesn't. Go away.
The Grandmaster's...
I forgot it does that. I don't know. I'd have to go read the letter again. I don't really want to go looking for it right now. Oh, I guess it's like right here. I don't have to go look for it. I could just go get that one. Oh, that's a summary. That's not what I wanted. All accounted for. There's a Harbinger known as the Captain. Everything under the mask, no one knows anything about his past or origins. However, one thing's for sure, he is hard as iron for having the courage to challenge an ordinary mortal. Challenge gods as an ordinary mortal. Okay, so he did say that. So Varka's either making a false assumption or Varka's really smart and knows something we don't. Now that said, if he is a mortal, right? A mortal, not immortal. If he is a mortal person, then I'm kind of confused about whether or not he could be from Natlan, because he would need the protection of the Wyab in order to leave and not like have negative repercussions, right? I mean, Varka could be from Shiznaya, that's true. Like it's very possible that he's from Mondstadt too. I was assuming that he's most likely from Natlan because we don't have one from Natlan. We don't have a Harbinger from Natlan, rather, and also because he seems to have a night soul, or at least something that looks like a night soul. What do you think of the rumor that Capitano is Paraneri? I don't know why that would be true. I have also heard that rumor, and I don't understand the logic behind it. And if they try to make that work, I'm going to be very confused about Arlecchino. Like, very confused. Like, why would Pierro then tell her to read Paraneri in her character stories if it's actually about the captain? Like, do you know what I mean? That would feel very strange. Do you think the Captain is Kaya? No, I don't. That'd be very strange. I think he could be connected to Kaya, but... Do you think Capitano could be Tanaka? I don't think so, because he's an NPC, and he had a very NPC design. Pierro, yo, go read this fanfic, Arlecchino. Yeah. Do you think Auroron got... No, okay, so let's talk about Auroron. I want to actually just... There's a lot of questions in chat that I'm ignoring, and I'm sorry, but I'm trying to stay as on topic when it comes to this upcoming version update as I can, just because, you know, that's what we're here for. All right, so I talked about it a little bit earlier. I didn't really go into much depth. But Mavuika has said a couple of times that she doesn't think that the best choice is the one that comes at the lowest cost, or is the one that is the lowest risk. And it seems like her goal is to not only forge an ancient name, but also to do something to protect or preserve the rules of Natlan and or the Lord of the Night. So I have a feeling that we're about to switch sides. As in 5.0, the captain was our enemy for the most part, although we didn't really fight him much, but he's still on like the opposing side. We were on Mavuika's side. I have a feeling that we're going to swap sides, and Mavuika is almost going to become I don't want to say she's going to be an antagonist, but I think she's going to have that role for a bit, because I think the Traveler's going to have a bit of a difference of opinion with her. And I think the captain has a much more conservative, lower risk plan to fix the situation in Natlan. So he's working with Auroron, who seems to also be working on a secret plan. I also think that this is at least in part Capitano's plan, or at least the one that he's working on. And I think that Auroron's looking to protect people over the Lord of the Night. And that may be problematic for his tribe in particular, because his tribe is the Nightwind tribe, and that happens to be the tribe that is the closest to the Night Kingdom, or at least understands them and the Wyabs the best. So, I think Mavuika is going to take some convincing to change her methodology a bit. I think that's more or less what we're going for. Do you think the captain is hella old? I feel like he should be at least... Okay, so with all the Harbingers, all of them are at least 500 years except for Child. Well, they're all around 400 years. And all of them have, like, a deep connection to the events of the Cataclysm, regardless of whether or not they were around when it happened.
This member of the Masters of the Nightwind is working.
So I can let it run. God, he looks like a Shadow the Hedgehog brought to life. It's so strange. It's so strange. I don't understand his design. I'm sorry. It's so odd. He looks like a Shadow the Hedgehog humanoid. I don't know. I can't. Arlecchino. Okay, okay, that's fair. That's fair. Arlecchino and Child are the only two. Everyone else seems to be 400 or older, right? Or at the and even then, all of them still, except for Child, have a very close connection to the Cataclysm. Like, even though Arlecchino seems to be approximately 24 by my math-ish, you know, she's connected to the Crimson Moon Dynasty, which is connected to the Conrian Civil War, which led to the whole Cataclysm and stuff afterwards, so... Wanderer's over 400, well over 400. Zandik is over 400. Senora's over 400. Who else do we know of for sure that's over 400? That might be it for right now. So, like, just statistically speaking, the captain should be about that. He's giving the tonight will be the night that I... He really is. It really is. It's very emo. It's very strange. I shouldn't say it's very strange. It feels a little out of place. That's what I should say. But Natlan is certainly nothing if not diverse in its source material for its design. Like the tropes that they're going for, specifically. Diverse in the tropes. It's a weird mix. Pentalone's 400 too? I don't know. That's why I said, like, the ones that we know of so far. Like, Pierro is over 400 easily. I forgot he counts. Arlecchino's like 27, a little younger, but yeah. 20, 30. Yeah, that's I said that. How far behind is chat with me right now? That's what I want to know. How far behind is chat? Do I think Auroron is the 10th Harbinger? No. I don't. I can't really explain why I don't. It's entirely based on vibes. I'm just not convinced that he's the 10th Harbinger. I really feel like the 10th Harbinger is like someone that Hoyo wants to kind of like shock us with later. I just don't feel... I would feel really let down if he is. I'll put it that way. I'd feel really let down if he is. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a Snezhnaya casing, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, because, like, not all Harbingers even have casings or visions to begin with, right? Like, Pentalone doesn't have one, so he'd be running entirely with the delusion. I don't think that's a big problem. It's just, like, I don't know. It's a weird vibe. Like, I think it's even entirely possible that there just isn't a Harbinger from Natlan because... the people from Natlan don't leave Natlan. I mean, I think that's also a possibility. Because why would you have a Harbinger that couldn't leave their nation? Right? That would be a bit... yeah. The theory even come from... I think it came from the fact that his vision casing is silver. So hold on. Let me back up a little bit. I'll show you what I mean. see if it'll swap sides here. There we go. So his vision casing is silver. And I think right now the only vision casings that are silver that we know of in the game are all connected to Snezhnaya or the Harbingers in some way. So I think that's where it came from. I don't know that. I'm making an assumption. But looks like a painting of one of the Abyss devices. Yeah, that's because the Nightwind Kingdom. I'm just a jumble of words today. A jumble of useless words. I have been corrupted by the Abyss. Oraron is from the Nightwind tribe, which is the tribe that is closest to the Night Kingdom, which should make them also closest to the Abyss. Like, they have the best understanding of that area, so him having that symbolism isn't surprising to me, in my opinion. I think that's kind of expected. I mean, even this, like, the spirit, was it the Spirit Speaker Stone? Is that what it was called? The thing that we used to catch Kachina's name, even that thing was very Abyss flavored, and quite similar to the Abyss symbols here. And need I remind you that this is the same symbol that's worn by the omnipresent god statue in Inazuma? So, like, I don't know. I don't think it's quite as big of a deal as people are making out to be, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. Happy to be proven wrong. He's also not likely one of the heroes that Mavuika is waiting for. I say that because he's Electro like Eon-sen. It's implied to be one of each element that he needs as well from one of each tribe. Yeah, that is one thing. I know that in the teaser trailer thingamabobbers. I forgot I could do this. Where is the thing? This one. No, it isn't. It's not here. It's not this one. It's is it? Oh, maybe it is right before here. Oh, I don't know where anything is. I feel like my kitchen. Big of a zest. It's such a mess. I don't know where anything is. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. I thought it was. Oh, here it is. See, if I complain enough, if I complain enough, then things will show up. Okay. So the reason why I think people think that Oraron will be the hero that represents the Nightwind is because we have Kinich over here. With, I think, Burkina, like the soul of Burkina. And then over here, this appears to be Oraron in front of the Nightwind tribe. With someone next to him that's unknown. So it is possible that they'll double up on elements. I think that's kind of a weird choice. But, I mean, it's not an impossibility. Kinich is in his mode? Yup. Double up on elements, no cryo. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's certainly not Sea Lolly right there. It looks like Chaska's hat. Well, Chaska's from a different clan. She's from the Flower Feather clan. So I don't think she would be standing there. Isn't the Collective of Plenty a bat? Yes, indeed. Well, see, here, okay, so here's my thing on... I mean, it does look like Oraron, but it also looks like he's, like, got blue flames coming off his head. I don't know if you guys can really see that. It's a bull, right? No, it's a bat. Collective of Plenty are the bulls. I don't think that's a bull. I mean, it might be. You're talking about this one, right? I don't think we've seen this one. Have we seen this one, actually? Because Kinich has all of them on his... shoot, what are they called? What's the Collective of Plenty one called? Is it a bull? You've seen people say maybe he has a delusion. I don't know about that because all the delusions that we've seen so far have had a Snezhnaya casing. I'm not sure that they can make them in other flavors, but maybe they can. I don't know why I keep calling everything flavored. Don't ask me. I could just look at Saurians as a top category. There are ways around this. All right. There's the Kukasaurs, Yumkasaurs, Koholosaurs, Tepetlosaurs, Ichthyosaurs. This one is the one that is the bat. Okay, so this one should be the Tatakosaurs. Okay, they don't have the thing. Okay. So we just don't know. I thought they'd at least like have an image for it because you can see them on Kinich's little thingy. His thingy, the little Saurian Seeker idol thing. You think the Plenty is a monkey due to the Mayan myth? I mean, it might be. I wonder if we could find out really quick. I mean, this would make sense. I don't know if it's accurate. That'd be an interesting reference to make. Not an unreasonable one, though. You only think it's Citlali because haha pretty woman, haha good sales. I feel, okay, so the thing about Citlali is that she is a granny. She's basically a Faruzan. Yeah, you see, she's got the tattoo of the eyes on her body too. So I think it's just a Nightwind thing, honestly. So she's a bit of a granny. Like, they call her that, Granny Citlali. So she's been around for a long time, even though she looks really young like that. And I'm pretty sure that the fan theory that she's supposed to be based on an axolotl is correct because those things don't age. So, you know, is she a cyborg? No, I really think she's just supposed to be based on an axolotl, right? I think that's just what she is because like she's got the oh my god, I'm losing it with my tabs because she's got like the triple feathers on the side of her head. She's got the right pinkish purplish coloring for it. And then her pseudo immortality is kind of what I'm gonna call it. She just has axolotl vibes, as far as I'm concerned. So like I just feel like because she's so much older and because she's so well informed, I don't know that she wouldn't understand her role, right? Like she would know about a lot of the stuff going on. I mean, that's kind of the opinion that I have. I think it would make the most sense if it's Citlali, but I mean, narratively speaking, it would also make sense for it to be Ororon because he wouldn't know anything. But I don't know. Super cute pink long frogs. Will we ever see axolotls in Natlan since there's a variant in Inazuma? I don't know. I feel like we should see them in the night. I bet we'll see them in the Nightwind tribe. Although it would be amazing if she used loach pearls as her ascension material. Like that would be super funny because those things have been in the game since like Ganyu was released and they still have no use. It would be so funny. They'd have to give us a better way of catching them, though, because those things are a pain to catch. Imagine the person in Mavuika's plan is just an NPC. That'd be kind of funny. No, it's Joska's sister, guys. That's the one we're waiting on. Oh. Shame they are not specified as local specialties, yeah. Yeah, I still don't know why they made that choice of the loach pearls. It's very confusing. But yeah, so I'm so torn. I'm so torn. You know, I'm not shitting on his design, okay? But when they showed that one profile picture for the voice actor announcement, I feel like it did not look like this. It looked very different. So this still throws me when I see it, because I'm just like, that is not how I remember that image looking. It's just funny. You getting the new girl too? Oh, like, you mean like Shilinen? Yes, I'm collecting the Geo units. I'm not shitting on his design. He looks like a Final Fantasy character to me, with a bat ear. It's just he just okay. I'll show you. I have to prove my case because it's gonna drive me crazy. Oh, then I'm gonna have. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay, look. This is what he looked like. Okay, this is what he looks like in the announcement thing. Look at him here. They don't look the same. You can say whatever you want. They don't look the same. They're totally different colors. He's got brown pants. This was blue pants. He's got purple on his shirt. Now it's dark blue. This is like a green scarf. Now it's like teal, or sorry, now it's like blues and lots of different blues. His tattoos were way lighter. His hair was a totally different color. Like, do you see what I mean? Like, it was just different. So it throws me when I see him. It might be the lighting. Like, a lot of it is the lighting. Yeah, you're not wrong on that. But like, it's the angle. It's the fact that they showed us literally his least interesting angle in this shot. Like, as far as his like clothing and everything goes, it just throws me every time I see it. You got isekai. I don't know if I would consider it an upgrade or a downgrade. Just like, see, if I look at this, I think, okay, yeah, I mean, I see a Genshin character. But then if I look at this, I'm like, this is a Final Fantasy, like, 13 character. Anyway, I'm sorry. Moving on. There are things I actually did want to talk about, and I have forgotten what they were because I got really distracted. What else is new? Man-Bat, yes. Need a video on all the different eye motifs in Genshin? Probably won't get one from me. Maybe it's lighting. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It definitely is in part lighting. That I will not deny. It's just funny whenever I see it. I just think it's funny. So we're gonna get to meet Sitlali, all this kind of stuff. We're getting a new. This is interesting though. Seems like Sitlali knows a lot about opening portals to the Night Kingdom, which is interesting. I like the idea that we're seeing phlogiston, aphid, corroding, abyssal energy show up. I think the choice word of corrosion is a good one. These things I like. I like them a lot. In fact, I started writing the last theory I just finished on. I started because of these things. Not this one in particular, because I didn't know we were getting this one, but like the ones that we have already. I like this series. Okay, I have a question for you guys. So, dragons made this, right? Like, this is dragon technology. These are made with iridescent inscriptions and phlogiston, right? Do you guys now think that these defense mechanisms are also dragon technology? Do you guys think that? Because I've been wondering, like, looking at the way that they're designed and what they do and how they operate, and the fact that it's not marked as an enemy, it's marked as an obstacle. It's from the automaton family. I mean, Like the ones in Sumeru? No, not the ones in Sumeru. Those are Destrits. Although he did do something quite similar. I don't know. I see these things and I think of dragons now. Because I don't know. Aren't they around Conria time in Solvid? No, because you can also find them in the Golden Apple Archipelago. Among other places. They're just secret. Dragonspine is obviously related to... I mean, Durin lives there. That's the thing. It's called Dragonspine because Durin's there. Yeah, so anyway, I was just wondering because we don't know where they come from. But on that subject, I've been thinking, and I saw a really great theory on Reddit. It was shared on my server. I'm gonna have a hell of a time finding it though. Let's see if I can find it really quick. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. Okay. So this is a really cool theory. I'm bringing this up. It's relevant. I promise. It's relevant to what I'm talking about. So this person here, I recommend you go check out this theory because I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But like the fundamental idea that they pitched towards the end is that the unified civilization stuff was actually built by humans who dismantled dragon civilization buildings to rebuild new buildings on top of them. Which would mean that we basically got layers of civilizations going on, where dragons were like the first one at the very bottom. And then their bricks get dismantled to build the next civilization, which gets dismantled to build the next civilization. And so that's kind of why you've got that layer effect of like different civilizations at different points in time. And the whole reason why they went with this theory, which I thought was fascinating, was because of like these swirl marks and stuff, because they make sense on the dragon architecture, but they don't on Enkanomiya, and it's always bothered me and a bunch of other people. It's driven me crazy. But that also made me realize that, like, with these iridescent inscription tech and everything, like, it's very possible that things like normal switches that have like that quaternary knot on them, you know what I mean? It's very possible that those switches are just repurposed from dragon civilization technology. You know? And that's why we see them in so many different layers of different time periods and all over the place. I think that'd be really cool because this is a real thing that happens in real life. Like there's this church that I can't remember the name of right now. I can look it up. In the Yucatan, that basically it was a Spanish built church, like Spain. Spaniards came over, built this church, but they used a lot of bricks from Mayan structures. And so when you go through this church that is very European, you can see bricks where like some of them are just intricately carved with these Mayan glyphs and design motifs. And it's fascinating. But this is kind of stuff that happens all the time. So it's like really cool to think of this in an archaeological sense, right? I love this. Is like one of my favorite theories to come out of Natlan. I really like it. I really like it. Based on the meaning of words in all languages in Teyvat could be based on dragon language. Yeah, they could. They could have their roots in there. Because like phlogiston carving, for example, is a technique that the Natlanians, or I guess they're called Natlanese. I like Natlanians better because it makes them sound like Atlanians. And I think Atlanians makes them sound like super awesome. But Natlanese is, I mean, it's fine. I'm partial. I'm partial to more of an Atlantis sort of thing. A Mayan Atlantis. But yeah, I think it's very possible. So the phlogiston carving, for example, is humans' attempts at mimicking this sort of technology, that the iridescent inscriptions controlling the phlogiston that the dragons had. So we do have instances of humans mimicking dragon tech and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. In Campeche City, the Church of San Francisco was also built on top of a Mayan pyramid. The church is still active. Wow. See, that's really neat. I mean, it sucks because, like, you dismantled this amazing historical structure, but on the other hand, to see the evidence of the history, I think is cool. Two different types of floors, and I thought it was very strange at the time. Yeah, exactly. Mexico City Cathedral is also above an Aztec temple. Yep. There's one other theory that I quite like. So we're going into 5.1. Now, they didn't actually say, and so I'm a little... So we're not getting any more... we're not getting any more region expansion this time. I mean, we're going to get some, like, you know, 1 or 2 time dungeons or something like that. Like, we're obviously going to get some new-ish stuff with Shilanen's quest and whatnot. But no, like, new permanent areas to explore. So I think that means we're probably not going to get any more information about Little Guy. Which is unfortunate, but I saw someone point out, and I forget who it was, and I was just reminded of it because of this. What I was just... Okay, look. Look at this guy. Yellow body, green hair, yellow body, green headdress. Is there a possibility that Ahal is either Ochon or Ubakan? Because he kind of looks a bit like him. It would be really... Okay, it would be really funny for him to be Ochon, to be fair. It would be really funny. Like, super funny. I don't think... I think it would be weirder for him to be Wahaklahun Ubakan, just because, like... I feel like that's gonna come up in a world quest, and I don't think how will be there, but, you know. That'd be so funny if he was Ochon, though, man. It'd be so funny. Anyway... If we're not going to get any lore on that, I'm hoping we'll get some more crumbs on this, maybe eventually. He actually has that amount of power, he'd grow to be even more insufferable. Yeah. Ochon is Capitano Tant. How? Dragon projection failed to render, then became pixelated, basically. I think it's funny. I wonder if we're going to get more automaton lore with Shilanen too, because she's extremely talented, apparently. She's a DJ, roller derby, she can forge ancient names, weapons, machinery, all sorts of things, and she's studying the dragon tech. I think that's pretty cool. They didn't tell us what these do, did they? That's unfortunate. Well, I'm not pulling on the weapon banner, so I guess I don't really care. It was nice seeing Enjo again. Yeah. I'm glad they made him relevant again, because it gives me some hope that they might give us some stuff with Jet at some point, you know? Okay, the one other thing I was looking at earlier... Will there be no map update? I don't think there's a map update in 5.1. No. I don't think there's a map update in 5.1. This feature's kind of useless. Like, I'm trying to get it to get to this one spot, and it shows the spot in the timeline, but then actually doesn't land me at that spot, and I'm kind of like, can you please do the thing? Come on. Let's get there. There it is. So this... I don't know what this is. Oh, come on. Show it for 2 frames and disappear. Got white, gold, and green, which are all of the same colors of this guy. I'm just kidding. Do you think we'll get a Dern event in 5.2? I hope so. We better. We'd better. It's giving Karkata. Oh, true. I guess that could be an automaton of sorts that they don't want to show us. I kind of feel like it probably won't be. It looks more like a light prism, like you would shine light through it. Given that, you know, the beginning of this trailer was this sun. This. I'm wondering if that thing is supposed to be a sort of prism meant to work with it. 5.2 being a Durin event would be incredible. I would be so down. I'd be so happy, man. Can I just point out here that this whole little like underground space flashback scene thing that Mavuika is in, I don't know where this is. I'm kind of wondering if this is where she goes when she walks through the sacred flame. Like, I'm wondering if that's what's on the other side of the sacred flame. But if you look, this thing is full of the iridescent inscriptions right here. So this whole space is dragon territory. Because humans don't have this tech, not even the Archons. Which is another reason why I'm thinking the Lord of the Night is the Pyro Sovereign or Pyro Sovereign adjacent. And that's why all the Saurians are like split from him. Now, this is interesting because these also kind of resemble the iridescent inscriptions, and I'm kind of wondering if the Nightwind tribe has like their own version of it. Should be really neat. There's a theory of Durin being the Pyro Sovereign. Ryan used the essence to rebuild or rebirth. That would be really interesting. I haven't heard that one. That one I have not heard. But it would be fascinating. And really cool to see. Hope this isn't mean, but do you modulate your voice for YouTube streaming like VTubers? Do they do that? Wait, do they do that? Is that a thing? Okay, I am not... How do I put this? How do I put this? I can't be asked, okay? Like, I can't be asked. Not with a K, just... ASS. Like that's too much of a pain in the butt. I would not do that. No, this is my voice. This is my actual voice. I get called a chipmunk at work sometimes. Well, I used to. I don't work there anymore. No, I don't bother modulating. Oh, well, okay, so I do use a mixer, but it's not the same thing. It's an equalizer. It just, you know, you can lower bass tones a little bit, or you can boost them, or you can take off some of the higher end stuff. I use that a little bit for recording just to kind of balance things out, but usually that's to offset the way that a mic picks up your voice. So some mics are like really good on the higher end, some mics are really good with bassy tones, and depending on where your voice falls within that range, you kind of have to adjust the levels of it to compensate. And that's basically the extent of what I do. I do that. What if Mavuika is the Pyro Sovereign? I mean, she has the power of the Pyro Sovereign. That's part of what the Sacred Flame is. What's modulating? Like if you were a dude with a really low voice and then you ran your voice through a little software thing that changed the pitch and stuff so that it made you sound like a 20-year-old girl or something. Some modulating stuff. Oh, goodness. I am quite ahead of this thing, I think. That cube things looks like they show in the very next scene at 131. As for what those are, no clue though. At 131. Oh, you mean this thing? Oh, yeah, you're right. That's a good observation. I didn't catch that. This is obviously another dragon device. Oh, come on. I know we're doing frame rate. Come on. YouTube, let me scrub. Okay, yeah, I see it. Yeah, so you're thinking like that's a piece of the next device. That's a good catch. Because it's got the same mounting system here. That would make sense. Any thoughts of Nahida birthday event? I don't know that we'll get a lot of lore from it, but I think it'll be fun and cute. I don't know if you guys saw this one. I don't think this was actually in the stream. Where'd it go? Not this one. And this one. So they released this little thing, which is sort of like a teaser for Nahida's birthday. It just seems like people are trying to throw her a surprise party. But I don't know what else they're gonna do with it. Looks like they're gonna find a gift for her. And I'm hoping that because this should be a voiced quest, that the R&R may also get little cute sounds or something. That'd be nice. But this just seems like it's going to be like a cute little thing. I don't know if I expect anything from it. Although, whenever we get these cute little things from immortals, usually they end up reminiscing about something that happened in their past. So maybe we'll get some lore about Deshret and Nabu Malikata. That'd be kind of cool. Throwing a surprise party for an Archon that can read minds? Yeah, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. R&R's and Yoimiya's part 2 were not voiced though. Yeah, I know, but a girl can dream. Let me have this. I'm gonna be delusional for a little while. Screw the Sumeru lore, we got a Nahida birthday. The bigger war in the darn Ito event. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what... I guess they're just looking towards the end of the world, basically. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. My guess is that, yeah, wholesome event to offset whatever the heck is going on in Natlan right now. Although, it's kind of weird for him to be here right now. Don't you think? Lieben usually comes towards the end of versions, doesn't he? Hot take, you wish we'd be done with Sumeru? We're always going to go back to other nations. We'll keep going back. We went back to Mondstadt, went in Inazuma, we went back to Liyue, went in Fontaine. Like, we're just going to keep... Like, it's an interconnected world, you know? Like, you got to keep going back to the old places. So, I think it'll be fine. I'm telling you, this guy is so suspicious. He better tell us something interesting. I wonder if he'll give us foreshadowing for a potential Durin event in 5.2. Isn't the 0.2 version supposed to be the version that we would get the finale? Because we got parts 1 and 2 in 5.0. We're getting parts 3 and 4 in version 5.1. Shouldn't we get the finale in 5.2? I mean, I guess I'd be happy either way. It makes the most sense for a Durin event and an Albedo event to happen in December. I don't know. There's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to Sumeru right here, though, because they really didn't give us much to work with. They're just like, hey, it's a birthday party! Yay! And that's kind of it. So I'm not entirely sure what to say there. But what happened? Why did you do that? Oh, right. I clicked a button. That's what happens when you click buttons. You know, speaking of Sumeru, I wonder if one of the reasons why they're doing it right now is because of this. Because, like, on the one hand, this looks like the inside of the narwhal when it tries to eat you. On the other hand, this looks like Skara's black hole. And on the other hand, this reminds me a lot of the, that one, this one. I couldn't remember the name of it. It reminds me a lot of this thing. You remember this thing? Yeah. Reminds me a lot of that. What if this is the false sky breaking? I don't feel like they'll break it in Natlan, but I do think it'll give us more information on that. Because, like, these are, you know, I mean, they bear some similarities. Also interesting that it seems like the sacred flame might be going out. Or dwindling. There's that 8-pointed star. This is what I wanted to look at. Because it comes from the top of the tower. Okay, impact frames. I can't see anything. So we do have these sacred flames right here. I don't know. Seems like it's coming from a pretty suspicious place. Oh, right. This is another thing. When I was scrubbing through this, I noticed... You guys see something here? Do you see the patterns that show up? Those diamond patterns? And the swirlies? You know what they reminded me of? Is that the one area you can get to in the Night Kingdom? Does that one have the balloon? Because I thought that one didn't have the balloon. Or maybe it doesn't. Yeah, it reminds me of the Remurian music scripts. You're right. I was actually thinking of something a little bit more recent. Slightly more recent. Hold on. There, okay. This was actually the one I was looking for because you can, it's a better, like, overall view. It almost kind of looks like a magic circle. Like music notes and clockwork. But the thing that it actually reminded me of was it reminded me of the music that you can find around Constellation Metropole. I thought it'd be faster to look at Barbellith, but it wasn't. Yeah, the Astral Garden, this one. It reminded me of this, which isn't like super accurate because, oh, you can't really see it. I don't know. It was the wavy lines and stuff like that, which I guess are just basic music notation, to be fair. But the stars and everything that she has take that shape too. So it reminded me of that. But this is also quite Remurian as well. Oopsies. I wanted to see do. I don't want to look for it. I'm lazy. Looks like the infinity sign. It's just like a lot of knots kind of weaving. I mean, it's okay. So to be fair, it's only got 3 lines. I believe that regular music notation tends to have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, 5. I'm sorry. My bad. It's 5. It's funny. I can read music and I don't even remember. So like, I'm not sure that that's exactly what it's supposed to be. If it just reminds me of that. But it's an interesting magic circle. I wasn't looking for the Sea of Bygone Eras or anything. I was trying to see if I could remember what the music box was called, and I couldn't. Like the music box you use for the exploration for the Sea of Bygone Eras. Because you don't really see anything in the other areas. Yeah. I want to know what the music box was called. I don't remember. Nah, you get the idea. You get the idea. Ancient auto-harmonic music box. How do you remember that? Let's take a look. Yup. Good memory. That's a terrible photo. There are no photos of it. Okay, useful. Love it. Very helpful. Love that one. It's my favorite one. Anyway. Yeah, okay. Well. I don't want to go get it in the game. That means booting up the game and getting my controller and all that. I don't wanna. 3-line pattern kind of reminded you of the Dragonspine secret room door pattern. I don't think they'll have a picture of the door here. Probably not. Probably not. Oops. Although maybe. Nope, they do not. I could go dig through files for it, but I don't want to. Yeah, controller. I play on controller, even on PC. I don't want to click. I don't want to sit here and click. I click all day. I want to click to game. Who clicks to game? Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just old. Back in my day, you could only play games on controller. I mean, it's also worth noting, I know I keep like kind of jumping all over the place as I'm just saying things as I remember them. Because I keep getting distracted. If you've completed your Natlan exploration, you've probably run across the secret phlogiston factory, the facility that's run by the Harbingers. And in there, they were not only collecting phlogiston for some unknown purpose, but they were also capturing a ton of Saurians. And I still kind of feel like, because that's the captain's team, that kind of implies that he's sort of anti-dragon-ish. Was that a Pyro Steely? What? What do you mean? I didn't talk about the part where they're fighting the abyss in the stadium, no. Just because, like, I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. The abyss is making a ton of copies of people. And, well, making a ton of copies of monsters and Saurians. And then there's also, like, some regular monsters coming through. You know what this reminds me of? Do you guys remember the last Theater Mechanicus where it was like you were in like a round area and you could summon monsters? Do you guys remember that one? That's kind of what this reminds me of. It's Theater Mechanicus War Edition. Why don't they just cut off the bridge? Are they stupid? I mean... Oh, was it that scene? They come so fast. Yeah, this just reminds me of Theater Mechanicus. I think it's funny. Wait, where did you see the Fatui fighting? The Pyronosis is the sun crown of Quetzalcoatl. Oh, is it Quetzalcoatl that has it? Is it? Oh yeah, I could see why. I could see that. That would mean it has the crown of Ubakan or something similar. Because isn't Wahoklahun also Kukulkan, which is also considered Quetzalcoatl? Or at least like equivalency-wise? Because they're all vision serpents? Or is that not quite right? I mean... The Pyro Sovereign is Shweequatl. They're all vision serpents, though. Yeah, Kukulkan. That's what I was thinking. Earlier in the trailer against the Abyss. Where, though? Because I only saw members of the tribes. We have Pyroceles in Natlan. They're just called Monitus. The thing about the Sealies that we found so far is that those Sealies are all kind of animo flavored, and then they just kind of take on the properties of whatever element that they think is most helpful for the humans around them. Like you'll notice we don't have a Geosealy. No one ever talks about that. No such thing as a rock fairy, apparently. Monitu aren't Sealies, though. I mean, they're as much Sealies as the Electro Sealies are, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? Like, they are the equivalent of that sort of thing in Natlan. They may not be from the Sealy race, but that's kind of because most of the Sealy race is animo flavored. I'm waiting. Oh, here we go. I see it. I see it. Looks like they're coming in as backup. Doesn't it? Because, like, there were only tribe members. Oh, yeah. Okay. There he is. Because there were only tribe members fighting all of these guys at first, and you can still kind of see a few of them when these portals arrived. And we've got Auroron here. So he's definitely leading the charge. Coming in as reinforcements. I mean, that makes sense. That checks out. Auroron bow user confirmed. Yep, he is also a bow. For sure. Which does mean... Oh, no, we do have a catalyst. Never mind. I lied. We've got all our bases covered. We've got a sword. A catalyst. Oh, wait, no, we don't have a spear. Kachina doesn't count. Huh. Who's gonna be the spear? Because Chaska is a bow. Auroron is a bow. They've given us 2 Natlan spears. And only Kachina can use them. I mean, like, I'm assuming. I don't know what the new one does. But, like... Aoife, maybe? Or Ianza? Ianza as a pole arm would be interesting. Yeah. I guess that would make sense. I mean, she's the only one left, isn't she? Aoife and Iansen. Iansen would be Electro's spear. Aoife is apparently someone we haven't seen, but he comes up in some voice lines. He's a Saurian veterinarian. Melee Catalyst Eonsen does sound better to me, yeah. I just can't really picture Seatlali using a spear, but I don't know. We'll see. Hydro Claymore is still one we're missing. Yup. We're never gonna get it either. It's never gonna happen. It just doesn't exist. Well, have we dissected everything in here? They didn't actually give us a whole lot to work with, although there was one thing. They didn't talk about this monster at all. Or whatever the heck this thing is supposed to be. Some kind of abyssal thing. I'm assuming that's a new monster. Or it's like a Marana type one-time boss. I don't know. I don't think there's anything else in here, really. This was a good song. And a lot of people who don't do the world quests or some story quests are looking at this being like, what the heck are all these things? What are these memories? They're not mine. Do you think we'll ever fight characters with vision outside of weekly bosses? Probably not. You've seen so many reactions that were confused. People are really missing out when they don't do the world quests, because the world quests have some of the best stories. And even story quests for characters you may not really like, you know? Like, sometimes the quests are just really good, even if you don't like the character they're for. I get not wanting to read, but on the other hand, come on. It's a video game. Oh. I couldn't see this very well when I was watching it on my phone earlier. But like ghosts of monsters with, so there's a fire barrier between Ether and the monsters. That makes more sense. Someone coming to support them in the abyss. Okay, so I saw some people saying in the teaser trailer thingamabobber something about someone's soul eroding. And they were saying that the person whose soul that was is the Travelers. And I looked into it. And I feel like that distinction is only made in Japanese, because in Chinese it's not specific. So I'm not sure if the soul that they're talking about that's eroding is the Travelers. I'm trying to find out where it says that. I don't know where it is in the trailer. This is being said by Mavuika's little sister, isn't it? This one. I'm pretty sure.
My end will not come first, and I'm not giving up. My end will not come.
Not that one.
His death can clear the debt.
All I wanted was to see her again.
I thought that was her. Yeah, the Tabibito thing, literally Traveler's Soul. Yeah, that one. The thing is it's not in Chinese as far as I'm aware. It's very vague in Chinese, so either Japanese is making some assumptions or Japanese decided to be really explicit for some reason. But my understanding is that it's not there. Oh, one other thing. I'm pretty sure this will be from Shilanen's story quest, or like the Tribal Chronicle quest. If this line is from her quest, I'm gonna suggest that she's probably continuing the story that we already know, you know, like the first two little quests that we do, and that we're supposed to stop an NPC whose name I don't remember from forging an ancient name that she probably shouldn't forge. That's my guess here. I don't think this is actually part of the Archon quest. I think this is Shilanen's quest. I think it's just a deceptive cut here because then it cuts to Mavuika, or Mavuika, rather. Because this, I don't think is the same location as this. I'm pretty sure. They don't look at all alike. The mother of the sick girl? Yeah. This one. Okay, this was the line I was looking for. It's way earlier in here than I thought it was. His soul is temporarily restrained by us and appears to have become more fragile in the process. Again, in Japanese, this is apparently literally says the traveler's soul, but in Chinese it doesn't. It's as vague in Chinese as it is in English, as far as I know. So we'll see. What would our ancient name be? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, man. It says his soul because Ether is the traveler in this trailer, so it could be referring to Ether. Just to be clear. Isn't this a line from the game? Isn't what a line from the game? What are you talking about? In Spanish, the Lord of the Night is Senora. I mean, it could be the mistress that the cat talks about. I mean, that would make sense. Ancient traveler. Something that translates to wish granter or to hammer at home, I guess. I would say maybe they're going to give him the name. Okay, so the thing about ancient names that kind of annoys me about them is that they're called ancient names. Because they're not names, they're titles. They actually have a very specific name. I don't know if the wiki has it, and I don't really want to go looking for it in my Discord DMs. I wanted to see if it was... Yeah, okay, they do have it. The Nahua word, Tokaido, I think, is how you say that. Means name, fame, or reputation. The Spanish version is the Tocayo, person with the same name as oneself. These do refer to names, but like they're a little bit different than like in English just calling it a name. Like if we look at Uthabiti, for example, it just means resilience. Umoja just means unity. Malabo means payment or cost. Like these aren't, they're not technically names, they're just like a shared title. So when we talk about what the traveler's ancient name might be, I don't necessarily know that it would be like a name. It would just be a title like honorary knight, you know, or the first sage of Boer. It'll be something akin to that. I would assume like it's going to be more in the savior category. They're actually just qualities. Yeah, in this case, they've chosen qualities or character traits, I guess. Depending on how you want to look at Captain of Swordfish too. Yeah, exactly. I kind of wish they had just called the ancient names like Tokayo, right? Like I really wish they would have done that instead of called them ancient names. I kind of get why they did it, but on the other hand, I kind of wish they would have kept the original term. Epithets. Yeah, that's a good way to word it. That's a good one. Do you think getting an ancient name is what will unlock Pyro Traveler? Yes. Yes. Traveler was explicitly not the savior in Simulanga, probably the same here with the Witness. That is also a really good point. That is a good point. Because while we were there and we did play a role, the Traveler was not considered the hero of the story. That is true. Witness would be a very good name. What if our twin is the Pyro Traveler? I'm not sure. So, like, if you complete the tribal things, I wonder if I can... I wanted to find a quick way to do it. I wanted to do the Tribal Chronicles. Tribe Reputation, this one. When you unlock Tribe Reputation, you can get these, which I can never remember the name of. And these are called a very special item. The thing about very special items is that they go in a very special part of your inventory. They go into your key items. So like this, for example, is an item under precious items, right? Where you can rename Wanderer with, like it's a one-time use thing. This is where you get your cakes, for example. This is where your resin is stored. So I'm looking at this thinking, okay, well, it's not a boss material, all right? We haven't seen the, we don't have Pyro Traveler. This is unique. And then it also says that you can feel like the fiery pulse thrumming through the stone, perhaps one day held high against the starry sky, it might emit a gentle gleam that illuminates the night. And we're going through this whole thing with the Night Kingdom and coming out of the Night Kingdom and going through like a ritual death process. It's obsidian. I'm really thinking this is quite likely going to be the Pyro Traveler Ascension material. Not Ascension material. Constellation material, sorry. So we get, I think, what is it, 3 or 4 from the Tribe Reputation? We get 1, 2, 3, Because here's the thing, there are 6 constellations and 6 tribes, right? You get one of these every time you max out a tribe. We've got 3 tribes, so we've got 1, 2, 3, right? So we should be getting another 3 for the next 3 tribes. So maxing out the tribal reputations means that we can max out Pyro Traveler, which just makes sense thematically if we have an ancient name, right? Do I wonder if what's the hidden name on the Pyro gemstone? What if that's our ancient name? Honestly, though, that would be cool. I feel like it was talking about something else. I can never remember how to spell the Agnetus. I swap the letters around. Pilgrimage for the Sacred Flame for a wish. A battle to earn a name. Yep, we're going for a name. Burnt to cinders for a dream. Someone gonna die. If the intention yet remains, achieved blank blank's truth he has. I don't know who blank blank is. And it also explicitly says he, which is interesting, which is the only part of this that makes me think it's not the Pyro Traveler. I don't know what that says in Chinese if it's not like, I don't know if it's, yeah, it doesn't say. I'd have to go look it up. Yeah, I mean, it could be Shabalanque. Yeah, it could be. But then, like, who is the he here? That's the thing. Because if you achieve blank blank's truth, then he is a different person, isn't he? Okay, hold on. I wonder, I'm gonna do this in a really jank way, so please forgive me. Oh, hold on. Wrong one. I always add an E. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I want to... I'll go here. And then we go here, and then here, and then here, and then we just copy. And then we do it in the really jank way. And we go over to Google Translate. No. Why is it still really is it defaulting to a male pronoun? I'm not knowledgeable enough to actually know much about this. But I can wildly speculate. Okay. Well, seems it. Seems like that's pretty deliberate. No, it says he, I can read it. Oh, okay, there you go. See, the thing is, like, I don't know, like, how much of translation sometimes is, like, the translation tool making some assumptions for localization purposes, you know, and like how much of it is actually like, oh no, this is actually a gendered pronoun. I feel like I need a deeper understanding of a language in order to be able to say that with confidence. So I'm glad some people can, because I can't. Technically, it is he, they as a singular pronoun. It could be either. See, I was almost wondering if this is Schweiklodel's. Or if this is Capitano's real name. That would be interesting to me. Redacted is a 2-letter word, not likely. No. It's okay. Whenever they do this, it is never the same amount of letters. Do not take 2 blanks as assuming that that's how many letters the word has. Because, like, in Chinese, it's still 2 blanks, which would mean that it would be 2 characters, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean it's only two letters. So I wouldn't look at it that way, especially because, okay, in Simulunka, you remember that like whole thing about the 3 people who founded Constellation Metropole, like the scripts that Anya wrote and that like had cat prints on them? Do you guys remember that? Because the way that they used the blanks there, they only blanked out the sections to make it look like a cat's paw. They didn't actually blank out the correct number of letters in the words. And we know that because we know what the words are. So I'm not convinced that it's like 2 letters, I guess is what I'm saying. That'd be kind of weird. It could be 2 words. Although, you know something worth pointing out? First off, this isn't the finale, okay? This isn't the finale. Maybe it will act as the finale, and then like whenever we get part 5, it'll be like more of an epilogue. But like it's also possible that this just isn't a finale. But burnt to cinders for a dream could imply that someone's dying, right? Mavuika is being hinted at as someone who's going to die because her death will repay a debt, right? And then it also says in travail that the Pyro Archon has a secret truth that she wishes to share with us. So I'm wondering if that's actually Mavuika's name and it gets erased and that's why it's not there. A Himiko dying, how original. Ribbon. I mean, I still think she'll be playable. I mean, she might have a wanderer sort of moment. You know, like maybe she does, maybe it is her demon name instead, because it's like erasing the whole role of Pyro Archon and erasing that, and then she kind of gets reset in a way back to just being a normal mortal Mavuika. That's possible. I think someone in chat said that or something like that. Change her entire outfit. I mean, on the surface, her outfit is fine. The only part of it that really bothers me is the fact that she has a zipper that literally cuts her entire outfit in half, and it goes right across her crotch. And every time I see her perform like some kind of gymnastics, it's just like sympathy pains, you know? Because zippers are not comfortable against sensitive areas of the body. And they're also not that strong. So if you do like the splits or those high kicks or whatever, like that thing's splitting right open. And that's my only real problem with it, honestly. Like the rest is fine. It's just, I don't understand the zipper. It drives me crazy. Do we know what her demon name is? Yeah, it's Habarim. It's I can pull him up real quick. It's funny. You guys really should talk to a lot of the NPCs around the stadium, because they say some really important things that are just not in the quest. Like, the demon name actually comes from an NPC. There's an NPC in-game around the stadium that you can talk to, and they'll be like, oh yeah, our Archon's name is Habarim. Which is super funny. What does that demon do? It says he sets cities, castles, and great places on fire. And gives true answers. Which fits with Mavuika, which is also part of the reason, and the setting things on fire was the reason why I think a lot of people thought the Pyro Archon's name would be Habarim, or I'm, because that was the variation that was circulating more than Habarim, or Habarim. I'm not actually sure how you say it, or like where the intonation goes, but just because he sets things on fire. It was the same thing with Focalors. Actually, Focalors was actually a name that people were predicting also, because Focalors is a demon that's known for drowning people. So both of those have been correct. So that's cool. I wonder if we know anyone who's like frosty. The AI just told you that Mavuika is a dead character. Yeah. All Archon names align with what was in the CBT beta, which means a Tsaritsa might be Barnabas. I don't know about the Barnabas thing. Because Barnabas is a character in Genshin already. This is a thing. He's this guy. He's from the manga, but like I feel like they still wouldn't name the Tsaritsa like have her share a demon name with this guy. I feel like that would be very strange. Was Murata retconned? No. It's the manga was made like a year before the game released, and I think there were a lot of things that changed between then and now. I don't necessarily think it was a retcon, but there were some very interesting localization choices that if you go and read like the fan translations of the original Chinese version of the manga, they're very different. And Murata is not present in the Chinese version. So I don't necessarily think that that's a retcon necessarily. I think there were just some assumptions made on the localization team's part. And it could have been in part like localization teams are usually given like a translation Bible of sorts. And I wonder if like they changed if some of the stuff in their translation Bible was a bit outdated. They phased out some of the manga stuff. They haven't really. There isn't anything that happened in the manga that hasn't happened elsewhere. The only thing that I would actually call like a straight up retcon is Dottore. I think that is the one thing. I think they had very different plans for him initially, because otherwise there's a lot of stuff about him that doesn't make sense. Or it could just be that we think it's a retcon and that they're actually going to bring the original Phantom of the Opera style Dottore back at some point when we get his arc. That'd be kind of fun. Oh, Fencer Dario, thank you for the super. If Capitano becomes an ally by Act 5 like Arlecchino, who or what could be the weekly boss? You mean like this upcoming one? Okay, so here's the thing. La 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 la. You see this? Currently, we are going counterclockwise. We started by fighting Child, and then we fought Senora, and then we fought Wanderer, and then we fought Arlecchino, which means that, yes, the next boss fight should be the Dove, which, by all accounts, should be Columbina. There is a possibility that it is the captain, but I'm assuming that this is Columbina. So, yeah. But I will say that depending on how this goes, like if we keep going counterclockwise, then we'd be fighting what I think is the captain next, and then Dottore, and then Pantalone, and then whoever this is, and then either yeah, this should be Puccinella, I think, or yeah. Or it could be the captain. It is also possible. And then Syndrome with being last. If we keep going counterclockwise. Right now, our counterclockwise movement has been accurate for 4 Harbingers. I'm assuming it'll work at the very least up until the nails. And then after that, I don't know if we'll like start going this way so that we end on Dottore, which I feel like would make more sense. I feel like him being the last one we fight just makes more sense. But we'll see. It's also possible that this left side is the side that we don't fight at all, and we do fight everyone on this side, but not this side. Because after Natlan, we go to Snezhnaya, And I'm gonna bet you that whatever Harbingers are left are the ones that we will get as like drip marketed normal characters. Not necessarily as like Harbingers that we have a big old boss battle for and stuff. What if it is actually Ororon, the tattoo below his eye? I don't know. I mean, I can make an argument that this is the captain's mask. I can make an argument that it's Pierro's mask. I can make an argument that it's the mask of Crepus. Like, I can do a lot with that. Like, look, this one up here also has a tear on one side. I don't know. You feel the sad mask is Pantalone? I mean, it could be. Pantalone doing a sad pantomime. Are we going to have a part 2 for Genshin like what in HI3 where we fight the remaining Harbingers? No. The Tevat chapter ends after Conria. And at that point, my guess is that we'll get like a whole new Travail with whole new whatevers. And it's going to be not the Tevat chapter, but whatever comes after Tevat. A whole new continent, a whole new planet, a whole new world, subspace thingamabob. We don't know. Yeah. Did I do the yearly web event that gives you all your stats? Yep, I did. None of it was surprising. Well, you know. Create the Hoyoverse. You don't think he'll be playable in Natlan? Just doesn't feel that way. He's totally different from Arlecchino. Arlecchino was very willing and amicable early on, not so for Capitano. Yeah, that is true. Like, historically speaking, if we look at the wheel and the Harbingers that we met, like, Child was accommodating when we first met him, and we fought him right away and got him right away. Senora was not, and we fought her right away, and we're never gonna get her. Probably. Wanderer also was not amicable towards us, and so he was also delayed a region. Arlecchino was amicable towards us, and we got her right away. The same should be true for Columbina. If she ends up being amicable when we first meet her, perhaps we'll get her right away. Although I will say that, like, the captain doesn't necessarily seem like he's someone to be delayed. I do feel like the male-female balance in Natlan is way off where it should be. Just in terms of, like, hitting sales metrics. So, because, like, you have Kniech, you have Aoife, and that's it right now for men. That's it. Everyone else is female. So the captain is the only other one that could be, you know, playable as a male in the nation. So I'm kind of banking on it because, oh, how do I keep forgetting about Aura? Okay, so there's 4. That's a better balance for a gacha game. I forgot about Ororon. I'm sorry. To all his fans, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting about him. You know, if he's trying to be stealthy, he's doing a good job because I can't remember him. Xbalanque. I mean, Xbalanque might be playable. We don't know that, though. That's the thing. Like, as far as confirmed playables go, we have 3. You guys are right. I can't believe I can remember Aoife, but I can't remember Ororon. We haven't even seen Aoife. Oh, man, that's so funny. Players also need hot male character. Dude, have you guys... Okay. I'm sorry. I'm so distracted. I'm not even talking about the trailer anymore. Have you guys seen the sensor tower data for, like, the gacha games for last month? Because number 1 was Love in Deep Space, which is, like, a female dating sim kind of thing. Is it Love in Deep Space or Love and Deep Space? I think it's Love and Deep Space. I forget. I don't even think it's in here. Oh, goodness. Yeah, this one. So, like, this game is rated number, as soon as it friggin' loads. This game is rated number 1, or not rated, but, like, its earnings are number 1 on the sensor tower for, like, last month or something like that. Which is so friggin' funny, man. It's so funny. I don't know why the video's not playing. But like, you know, it's a dating sim. It's all pretty men. That's all it is. It's doing so well. Probably because there's such a gap in the market. Anyway. It's second place for September too, yeah. Yeah, no, it's doing well. I was surprised. I didn't think it would get that high, but like, man. They have good voiceovers? No, I didn't know that. You'd also play Love in Deep Space if you could be a man and not have to live vicariously through a straight romance? That's a valid point. Proving that men do sell. They do! The balance does not need to be this far off. Nostalgically looking back to Mystic Messenger. I mean, there's also Tears of Themis, which is not doing nearly as well as Of Love in Deep Space, for the record. Even your friend who's a boy swipe for the lads, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like the captain would sell super well. I mean, Columbine will also sell super well, but like, you know. That's not the point. The point that I was trying to make here was mostly just, you know, I felt like Capitano, on the basis of him being male, feels like he's more likely to be playable sooner rather than later, just because we have such an off ratio. Because, like, how many females do we have? We have Mavuika, we have Mulani, we have Kachina, we have Sitlali, we have Chaska, we have Iansen. That's 6. It's a 6-3 right now. What about Barca? He's Mondstadt. It's different. It's Mondstadt. So right now it's 6-3, which is a little high. Oh, Sheilanen. Yeah, okay, 7-3. It's even worse. I knew I forgot to list one. Yeah, so 7-3 is even worse. Why is Capitano so thin? He was always going to be thin. I don't know why everyone thought he was going to be bulky. That was never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. I just realized that in the animated teaser, he's also using prototype Rancor, which is cool. I wish we actually got the Mega Electro Sword in our Electro Traveler kit, because we did not. I think that's Rancor, isn't it? Or is it? Well, we got it in the cutscene, which is annoying. Oh yeah, it looks like Rancor, I think. Or is that Dark Iron? I can't tell. It's silly. What about that Aoife guy that's been mentioned? That's what I'm saying. I'm counting him among the 3. Okay? Like, we know he's going to be playable. He's in voice lines, right? So that leaves us with, for men, Kinich, Aoife, and Auroron. That are guaranteed men that are going to be in Natlan. That's 3. It's 7-3. 7 female, 3 men. That's too much. Too much. Too much. They actually make the Hydro Traveler burst look cool in this one too, which is impressive. That thing moves so slowly. But yeah. Yeah, I wish the Hydro... you know, if the Hydro Travelers thing moved, like, I wish at least it had some crowd control. Like, I wish it actually was a vortex that sucked things in. Then it would be fine if it moved. Any thoughts on Pyro Traveler? You mean, like, what they do? I mean, based on every other Traveler, I would just assume that they're going to be a Pyro support. And I hope they're at least as good as Dendro Traveler. If they're as good as Dendro Traveler, I will be more than happy. That's where my expectations are. But I kind of hope it's more of a how do I put this? A pyro. I would love a pyro Xingqiu. That's what I would want. I would want a pyro Xingqiu. Another Burgeon trigger. No, don't say that. If the Traveler had fast application of Pyro, it wouldn't even matter how much damage that they did, because it would be very useful. Because you could ensure that Hydro or Cryo characters could always get the reaction if their application was high enough, is kind of what I'm saying, right? Because, like, Xiangling has decently high application, providing that her rotating thing hits. But if you had a Pyro Xingqiu type of thing where you could hit really quickly and, like, not have it be able to miss, that would kind of take care of a lot of problems, even if it didn't have a lot of damage. You want a Cryo Xingqiu? I feel like we have quite a few off-field cryo applicators. I won't say that they do a lot of damage, but like you've got Ganyu if you want to run her as a burst support. You've got Layla, who actually does pretty well. Kaya is still free and still quite good. I don't know. I have less problems with cryo, I guess. It's Pyro that hurts. Rosaria burst, yeah, exactly. Like, see, we've got quite a few. Do you think Dragonspine Durin will be resurrected as a playable character? Oh, I don't think they'll be playable. They'd have to have a human shape to be playable. I feel like that won't be a thing. But I won't be surprised if they become an ongoing character that shows up from time to time, like Dvalin. Mini Durin, yeah, see, Mini Durin. Xianyun was a bird. Well, yeah, but she's an Adepti. She's not a dragon. So far, the only, like, confirmed dragon that we know of that's in a human shape is Nuvolette, and apparently he's an anomaly. And, like, obviously you can argue a case for Zhongli, but, like, regardless of the amount of evidence we have, we just don't have it, like, explicitly confirmed anywhere. I know there's a lot of evidence. I'm not trying to refute it. I'm just saying that, like, he doesn't fall into the explicitly confirmed category yet. Partly because the only explicit confirmation we've had has said he's half dragon, half Qilin. And I'm kind of like, well, that's not helpful, but thank you. Yeah. Is there anything else? You think the Crimson Moon could be a shade of death? I mean, maybe. Still can't wrap... Okay, so... The thing about the Wyab is that they came into existence thousands of years ago, right? So, oh wait, hold on. The question is, someone still can't wrap... I lost it in chat, I'm sorry. Someone can't wrap their head around the whole Wyab's connection to Vanessa's tribe and the fact that the tribe could wander around freely without having any negative repercussions, which is fair and valid. The thing I want to point out, though, is that the Wyabs were created, like, thousands of years ago. But the whole situation where people really couldn't leave Natlan only came to be, like, a big problem about 500 years ago, because it was 500 years ago that the ley lines were kind of, like, really severely damaged to the point where it was super problematic. So my hypothesis, although this has not been confirmed, my hypothesis is that thousands of years ago, the ley lines were weak and fragile, but, like, it was still manageable and fine, and the Wyab kind of, like, took care of, you know, patches here and there, and people probably moved around pretty freely. But then when they took so much damage... Oh, there's one thing in here I wanted to see. I wondered where it went. I thought I imagined things. I'll show you in a second. What was it? I lost my train of thought. Oh, of like 500 years ago when the ley lines took like a ton of damage, like the Waya then had to expend way more energy to support the whole system, right? And suppress the abyss even more. And so then it became impossible for people to leave. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but it hasn't been confirmed anywhere. What do you think the items the cornerstone of stars and flames are for? Which one is that? Which one is that? Oh, this thing. This is a boss material. It's under character level up materials. It's this is used for like character. They gave us this early so that we could level characters without having a new weekly boss. So this will be a boss drop from one of the new weekly bosses. I didn't remember the name. Sorry. Okay, there's something I want to show you guys. I gotta wait for it to show up again because the frame rate on this is really good. Okay, I don't know if you guys noticed this. They zoom in too much on... Do you see what I see in the corner there? Do you see it? When is Vanessa's timeline? It was over 1,000 years ago. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. I can't zoom in. It definitely won't let me zoom in. However, what I could do really quick, hold on. Oh wait, it's not over there. It's where did I put my stuff? Where do I put my stuff? Yeah. I can zoom in from here. It is so blurry. I don't have a magnifier. I'm on a PC. I don't have a widget like that installed. There's this thing over here, which kind of looks a little bit like a Frost on Mlawachurl. I'm wondering if this is some kind of new monster. Or a dragon, yeah, maybe. Could be. It does kind of look like a Geovishap, yeah. Yeah, why does that Loki look like the Primo Geovishap? Yeah, exactly. Right, but it looks like something. And if you look at any of the other like instances of this image, it's cropped out. Like they totally cropped it. It's only visible right here in this little preview screen. Itty bitty. Super annoying. It is interesting that they didn't show us a new weekly boss, though. So that means we must be getting some more of those weekly boss materials coming up. Or that Sheelanin doesn't use the new weekly boss and uses an old one. That means we're not going to get a weekly boss for like a hot minute. Okay, so speculating for a second. We're not getting a weekly boss this patch, which means we're not getting our narwhal-ish kind of thing, right? So people either have to use the new materials that Genshin gives us through quests, or they have to use previous bosses. But 2 versions is a lot for no weekly boss, right? So either they give us a new weekly boss in the next story, which doesn't seem like it's coming in version 5.2. Usually they allude a little bit to that kind of thing. So the fact that it's not coming in version 5.2... Oh, I'm sorry. The fact that it looks like we may not be getting the finale in 5.2 implies that we'll probably get something else in 5.2. The thing I would like most is a Durin Dragonspine sort of thing. And a Durin weekly boss, a dragon weekly boss, would be the perfect first weekly boss for Natlan, on the basis that Natlan may not have us fight a dragon. And every region has a dragon fight during their Archon. Well, at some point. It's usually part of the what do you call it? Archon's story quests, right? Because like Apep is Nahida's second story quest. Ishaha is Zhongli's second story quest. A doesn't count. It's not part of Farina's though. Farina doesn't have a second one, but Nouvelette is like his own character, so he's unique. But we had the Narwhal in that case. Inazuma, I mean, like, you fought the Archon. Like, you can make the argument that either A is the dragon, which is a valid argument and actually isn't as far-fetched as it sounds, or you could say that it's Kapatsir and they're saving that for something else, which is also valid. You fought with the dragon, not against it. Yeah. Yeah, I would still love confirmation on the Electro Sovereign. That'd be nice. Why is A the dragon? It's a long, complicated explanation. I was gonna make a video about it. A friend of mine and I were both working on something along these lines. And then a couple months ago, I saw this pop up. So someone else had a similar thought. Oh, this is a year ago. Oh, wow, this is a while ago. This isn't the one I saw. Oh, hot damn. This is a whole different one. So there are multiple people who thought this. Never mind. Anyway, there are theories about it out there that you can read. It's just a little too complicated for me to talk, just like go at on stream, I think. Kapatsir is the Simmergan away, isn't it? Yeah. That's a good way to think about it. I mean, okay, so there is a good case to be made for Kapatsir to be the Electro Sovereign. There's a very good case to make for that. There is an equally good case to be made that A is the Electro Sovereign. There is an equally good case to be made that says that we haven't seen the Electro Sovereign. So, like, it doesn't matter. Until they give us one, it just doesn't matter. Ajax Buchan, thank you for the super. Have I read the Natlan Mask Weapon Ascension material set yet? What are my thoughts on it? Yeah, it tells the story of Ochon. I gave a little bit of an overview of it in my last Natlan video. But basically, Ochon is a very interesting character. He's kind of like half human, half dragon, but it's unclear if that's by birth or like by design, as in sort of forced reverse evolution. Unclear. So, you know. But yeah, that's just Ochon. The TLDR on him is that basically he was imprisoned by dragons, and then he was freed by Xbalanque, and so he became quite indebted and fond of him. And then when Xbalanque became the Pyro Archon and died by choice, by stepping into the sacred flame and kind of like giving up and sacrificing himself and all that, Ochon was left behind and ruled Natlan, which is like this big ancient capital city, which you can see way off in the distance. And he went kind of nutso and was a tyrant, and people didn't like him very much, but he did help people learn how to use phlogiston carving, which is a plus. And he was defeated by the Scarlet-Eyed Hero from the Unfinished Reverie set, and also the original owner of the ancient name for the Turnfire that Kinich has, among other things. That's his story. But he did. Or sealed. Dead or sealed. Hard to say. He went kind of nuts, though. Do I think the God of the Night Kingdom is a shade of death and probably the Renova mentioned to the Archon quest? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, it could be. How much do I say without, like, giving away part of the video I just made? How much do I comment on that? I think it's a possibility, but I'm also biased and of the opinion that that the Lord of the Night is supposed to be the Pyro Sovereign. But I don't know. Just upload the video. I can't. It doesn't have any visuals. It's just audio. I just finished the audio for it and I've given it to my editor and they're going to edit it for me so that I can go do other things like writing other theories. Like a dead husk. Yeah, something like that. Which is like kind of a justification for this sort of monster in the background, right? Because like, okay, here's the thing. So we've seen that the Abyss in the Night Kingdom and all throughout Natlan can make sort of like these inky black darknessy clones of monsters and people, right? And if you did the Shadowpins quest, you'll learn that there's like this whole legend about a volcano lord, which is like this giant black salamander. And the Shadowpins are supposedly pinning them underground. But if you, as you go through the quest, you actually learn that the volcano lord is quote unquote the, I just did a quotes and I don't remember the quote. Never mind. Scratch the quotes. The volcano lord is actually like a metaphor for the abyss because the Shadowpins are actually pinning down the abyss, like sealing it below ground. So with that in mind, right? I was actually thinking that there's a possibility that because the Volcano Lord shows up in a lot of different legends, either every single instance that he shows up in those legends is just like a metaphor for the Abyss showing up and it's just called the Volcano Lord, which takes the form of a big black and purple salamander, or the Abyss is actively creating a clone of the Pyro Sovereign or something quite like it. So both can be true at the same time. So I'm wondering if we'll have something similar to that. Let's see. The Pyro Sovereign seems to be able to revive himself, kind of like reignite his flames. Like once his flames goes out, he kind of like sleeps for a bit and then he comes back. I don't know why, but the Night Realm Shadow versions of Tevat creatures remind me of ZZZ Shadow Jane Voss fight in the Sheyu defense. Yep. It's a bit like that. Did you do the new story? Because there's a couple more of those. Did I watch the Moonlit Bamboo Forest animation adaptation done for Hoyo Fair? Yep, I did. Have I seen the Celestial Nail in the Night Kingdom from when someone glitched into it? Yes, I have. In fact, you can see it for yourself. If you go to any of the locations in the Night Kingdom, you can just look up, and I mean way up. Like almost to the point where the character disappears from the screen because like it does that weird phase out thing. And you'll see it. It's right there. It's always there. Maybe the Abyss is a remnant from the dead sovereign and he's reclaiming what is rightfully his. Maybe. Maybe. It is a possibility. I think that's all I have to share now, though. I don't think there's much else. Oh, I think the one thing I wanted to point out, because we were talking about dragons earlier. Oh, I thought this is at a very good time. I saw someone mention on Discord that Zhongli's Echo is actually dragon scales, which is pretty cool. And that it might actually be... it might actually be trying to represent a dragon tail, which would be really cute, honestly. Rightfully is wrong. He got his ass beat fair and square by the primordial one. You are not going to like my next video. I'm just saying, you won't like it. You won't like it at all. If you really like the primordial one, to the point where you think that they were right in everything that they did, you will not like my next video. Don't watch it. Just saying. With the Shades having songs to bring stuff back from the dead, don't you think it's interesting Columbina sings? Maybe she's related to Isteroth. I do think she's a Seelie. You'll find out why in about a week. What did you think of the Turnfire lore for the Scions of the Canopy? Personally, it didn't really work for me. I mean, it was about what I expected. We didn't really learn so much about the Turnfire as we did the origin of the Turnfire name. Or not even the origin of it, just like one of the last holders of it. Wasn't even the original one. Yeah. Surumi Island was struck by a nail. Fontaine just doesn't have one. We don't know that Surumi Island was struck by a nail. That is a theory. We still haven't seen the nail. And in fact, we still don't necessarily know that there's a nail in Sumeru either. It's just like an 80% probability based on circumstantial evidence, but it's still never been said. We've never seen it. And as far as I know, we've never seen one in Surumi Island either. Unless Musashi has somehow managed to clip into the vortex and has found them, and I just don't know about it. Because that's possible. I guess it could be done. Pep listen. Do you think that we'll learn of some fire that groups everything together, like Bale Moon, Blood Fire, Sacred Fire? They're not, I don't think they're necessarily all grouped together. I think they're grouped together by theme, right? Like thematically, they're all about death and rebirth, like the actual process, like both sides of it. Like you die and be reborn. Genshin's very, very consistent about its fire themes around death and rebirth as like a pair. So I don't necessarily know that we need a fire that groups everything together, because thematically they are already grouped together. If they happen to have one nail per nation, is it possible that the traveler will like resonate with them or something to change the ley lines, that they become like the new king of the world or whatever? Perhaps. It could be. I don't know that Animo really has a theme of rebirth, though. It has a theme of death. Not necessarily rebirth. I think that's it, though. I think that's all I have. I definitely did not stay on that topic as much as I probably should have. What else is new? Although there really isn't that much in here to speculate on. Although I would like them to be somewhat consistent about the powers that they give Mavuika. Like, oh, I can't make my hair light up anymore. And then suddenly her hair lights up. And I'm like, really? And then they do it again in the trailer where her hair lights up again. And I'm like, I just want some consistency. You know what I mean? I just want some consistency. Just pick one. It's there again. Although they did say last time, as sort of like, I felt like it was a cop-out answer, but they said last time that this, the fact that her hair was lit up again was because, oh, this is Mavuika's consciousness breaking through. It's not actually her. And I'm like, sure, but also boo. Oh, I just realized. Did you guys notice this? That's the sun, that big white sun thing in the background. I just noticed that. So in this particular scene, Mavuika has that crazy white sun behind her. That's wild. Huh. Cool. What do you think of the idea that the sovereigns are similar to heroes of Conria, currently the sinners, in a sense that they are the strongest of their elements and not actually king? I mean, I think both of those things are the same thing. Like, dragons would determine their, like, leaders through strength. Either through strength of combat or, like, mastery, right? So I think those things would be the same thing, personally. Which is why I think they called Scylla at a couple of points the Dragon King. Because they did call him that a couple of times. Even though he wasn't, like, Nouvelette, right? Like, he wasn't the sovereign, but he was called the Dragon King in a couple of places. Because at the time, Nouvelette was kind of dead still. Or, like, you know, hibernating, suppressed, I guess. He wasn't around. So at the time, Scylla was kind of what there was as far as Hydra was. So he kind of like assumed the role of king. So I feel like that's just kind of how the dragons worked. Scylla was also called a prince. Yeah, exactly. Like, I just think like their authority is kind of like linked to. So she is in front of that white sun. Interesting. I didn't catch that because there's so much like fiery, lighty, golden, yellowy stuff going on here. Do you ever think they'll bring Zhongli back to the main story? Yes! At the moment we least expect it. And not a moment before. Oops. Okay, so from what we can tell from this scene, she's got the white sun behind her. And then in front of her, this, I think, based on a single frame that I saw. Flame. I'm seeing so much fire. I was like, flames. That looks like the abyssal vortex in the sky. Impact frame. Woo! What are my thoughts on Mavuika burning the Gnosis as a sacrifice to pay? I don't think she can. Although if she did, I mean, it would make for a compelling case as to why we do have to go to Snezhnaya, because then there would be a missing Gnosis. I don't know about that. I don't know. We'll see. Chris, thank you for the super. Thank you for the vids. I hope your life outside of the stream's content creation becomes less hectic soon and that you get some time to relax. I will get no time to relax. But I basically just have to hook up a gas line and I'm done with my construction. Well, I say I'm done with my I'm done with my required construction. There's still a bit of construction that I have to do before it gets freezing outside, but that's like less time sensitive. I would like to cook my own food again and not on a camp stove. That'd be great. That'd be really nice. It might awaken the heavenly principles. I don't think it will. But I'm also biased in my opinion on it. So, you know. Burning the Gnosis wouldn't fit with the overlying plot unless burning the Gnosis means that it relocates to the Abyss, making us eventually have to journey to the Abyss later on, hence Conria. Yeah. I'd agree with that. like if something happens to the Gnosis, like maybe it breaks or it runs out of juice or something happens to it, but like you still have like the canister or whatnot, and there needs to be like some sort of process that it goes through, or it needs to be retrieved, or something is lost from it, or whatever. I don't see it going away entirely. I feel like that would be quite strange. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Do you think the Traveler could become like a backup memory of Teyvat and its true history, as Zhongli says? As long as the Traveler witnesses it, then a backup of sorts will remain? Yeah. Yeah, for the most part. Like, I really think that the role of the Traveler in general is just a means to bypass the current tricky situation that Teyvat is in. So... Everyone has said that Bennett's unlucky nature is linked to the Wyab. What do you think? I think it's possible. Although, like... I mean, we do know he was found in the Marriage of Ari, so, like... It is possible. It's not unreasonable. It doesn't necessarily mean he's, like, a Natlan native. Because he could have been the child of travelers that went to Natlan and then lost him, or they died protecting him. You know what I mean? I think it's possible, though. The Hydronosis was not destroyed. Okay. So this is a common misconception, and I kind of blame Hoyo for this because they didn't give us a visual representation of the thrones. So there are the thrones of heaven and the Gnosis, which contain fragments of the third descender. And these two things are separate. So a Gnosis belongs to a descender, or at least it's a part of a descender, whereas the throne contains a dragon authority, which is separate. So in Fontaine, what got destroyed was the throne that contained the authority for Neuvillette, not the Gnosis. The Gnosis, Neuvillette kind of just gave away. I do kind of feel like it is Hoyo, because like they really should have given us some sort of visual representation of it, because it's easier to remember, and because it's a new concept that was introduced in Fontaine. If they had introduced the concept of the thrones more prominently earlier on in the story, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, sure, that's fine. But the fact that it was like introduced in Fontaine and destroyed in Fontaine kind of makes me feel like they should have made it a bit more obvious, like a bit more explicit. I feel like that's something that they should have done, but that's my opinion. Okay, so the amount that you would get confused about something like that really depends on how close of attention you're actually paying to the story on like a regular basis. Like some people take long breaks. Some people play a lot of different games and have a hard time following multiple stories really closely. Some people only play the main story, or sometimes people play for a year and then take 2 years off and then come back for Natlan and they're just like, wait a minute, what was this thing that just happened? I'm so confused. So like it's people absorb different types of information differently, and I think it's important. In my opinion, I just realized you can see where her tail attaches to her back. They also did it correctly. It's coming off her tailbone on the base of her spine. Sorry, I got distracted. It bothers me, okay? Because like a lot of people, when they draw animalistic humans, like where they give them tails and ears and stuff, like they put the tail like in the butt, not like above it, coming out of the spine. And it's like this pet peeve of mine, and I just realized this is the first time we've ever been able to see a Genshin character with a tail like as it's coming out of the body, like exposed. Anyway, I'm serious though. The next time when you start looking around at a lot of like the half animal human drawings that you'll see, especially in anime, if you look at how artists draw the tails, more than half the time they will come out of the butt. It's just a fact. I don't think they do it on purpose, to be clear. It's part of a learning process as you kind of like learn anatomy and stuff like that, but like it's still pretty funny, and it's a pet peeve of mine. Tailbone is closer to the butt. Yeah, but it's not. Not quite. Not if it actually has a tail. Isn't it because of an NSFW reason? No. It's because that they don't position it correctly. It just comes out too low. If you look, you'll see what I mean. Like, it doesn't have the correct curve to come off the spine. It looks more like it's been suction cupped on in between the cheeks, and it's kind of funny. Anyway, it bugs me. I think worse are double ears or headphones, not in animal ears. Hey, did you know Yenfei does not have ears? Fun fact. She's a lizard. No ears. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah, okay, so there was a Genshin tuber quite a while ago. Like 2 years or more ago, I think, at this point. His name was Facepalm the Third, and he did this video where he was checking all of the ears of the characters to see if like any of the animal characters had double ears or anything like that, because a lot of people's ears are hidden. So he took the models of the characters and he took off Yenfei's hair and hat, and she has no ears. There are none. But yeah, it's quite possible that Yenfei's horns are actually her ears. What's Yenfei's Adeptus half called? A Shei or Sheiji? I don't know how to say it. Please forgive me. But yeah, it's that one. Yep. You thought Yenfei's ears were her little hair tufts around her horns? No, she's a lizard. Do I think Fischl having the name of a demon is just a coincidence, or that there's more to it? I think that the real Fischl may be a god based on the demon Amy from the Goetia. So I'm 50-50 on if Fischl exists. Not the playable Fischl, to be clear. The fictional Fischl, like the one in the books. I'm 50-50 on if she actually exists or if she's a metaphor for a certain type of role of a person that existed. And I think the fact that the playable Fischl has the name of Amy, which is a demon name, for the record, but also a very human name, I think that is an allusion to a trait that is shared by this person who has the quote-unquote Fischl role. And that's all I can say. Because to explain the whole thing would take me forever. Do I think the Night Kingdom is a real Natlan and the current Natlan is like a Simulanga simulation? No. I don't. But like, I'm also of the opinion that all of Tevat at one point had a Night Kingdom. Okay, I think I can say this part without spoiling anything. So I have a theory. Okay, hold on. Actually, let me back up slightly because I need a little bit of context before I tell you this theory. And this is my last theory, and then I'm signing off. Okay, because I don't have anything else to say about the teaser or about the trailer, but I do have this to say about the Night Kingdom. So something that really bothers me about Tevat's history is that we basically have Nibelung and the rule of the dragons, and then we have the primordial one, right? And the era of humans. And nowhere in there do the Moon Sisters fit. But we have a lot of legends and references to the Moon Sisters all over the place. And so one common assumption is that the Moon Sisters are the shades of the primordial one, which is a distinct possibility. That's fine. But then the numbers don't line up, because then there are 3 sisters and then there's like a 4th that's not there. And I've pitched hypotheses. I've pitched ideas on why this is the case. And like who the 4th could be. Is Phanes actually considered one of the shades? Like, did he just split himself into 4 pieces and 3 of them happened to be the Moon Sisters, and then one of them was him or her? I don't know, them. Phanes as a mythological figure is androgynous, so it doesn't particularly matter much, but I'm only using him to differentiate from the sisters. Or is it that there's like a secret 4th sister that we don't know about, the rule of 3, but it's actually 4, or whatever. But right now, the primordial one rules by a system of fate, and it's a different system of fate than the ones that the dragons experienced. And I have another theory that I haven't put together because it keeps getting delayed because I keep getting distracted with new lore, that postulates the idea that the Moon Sisters and Seelies are dragons, okay? Now, my thought process is that if Nibelung is a light dragon, and the only reason I'm making that assumption is because he's called the Heavenly Father, and then we've got elemental dragons that serve under him, and if you combine all the powers of the elements into one, they make white light. That makes you like a sun light deity, right? Because he would rule over all of the other lights. So I've got a light deity on one side, which kind of represents daytime, and I should have a darkness deity on the other side, which represents nighttime. Well, at nighttime, I only really think of moons, right? So I'm looking at it going, what if there was a situation where Nibelung was the king who ruled above ground, and the Moon Sisters were queens that ruled below ground, because they're also called sovereigns of the night sky. And what better place for a moon to rule than a night-themed kingdom? So I'm wondering if at one point the entirety of Teyvat had a series of different night kingdoms, and Natlan still has theirs in the same way that they still have ruins from the dragon civilization, whereas in other nations, those buildings have been dismantled and repurposed. You see what I'm saying? In that way, the Moon Sisters start to fit into the timeline, right? Anyway. Yeah. That's it. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. That's the reason why I think the Night Kingdom is like part of a previous system of fate that existed under the rule of dragons and was partly destroyed and replaced by the rule of the primordial one when they installed their new system of fate, if that makes sense. Now, whether or not the Moon Sisters were on board with this change is subject to debate. I think it's fine to leave that open-ended, but I think it's something worth considering. So, actually, there's one thing in my video that I didn't actually talk about. It was in the, okay, so you guys have to understand something about like the month that I've had, because like on top of like all of this ridiculousness with my house and everything demanding my attention and like family visiting and all this stuff, I was also working on 2 dedicated videos, one that did not pan out. And it was the most infuriating experience to work for that development team, and I will never do it again. And they're actually the reason why I've decided to never do dedicated videos after I fulfill this other contract with this other place. But just to be fair, the marketing team that I was working through was fine. It was the development team on the other side that was a pain in the ass. So I was doing all of that, and then I had this idea for this theory, and I was gonna write it about I was gonna kind of focus on the Night Kingdom. And the reason why was because I wanted to prove the theory that I just told you guys with more evidence, more circumstantial stuff and all that kind of stuff, right? And I wanted to base it around the idea of the Orphic creation myth, which in the end is funny. It actually got removed in the second rewrite of this theory. I've rewritten this so many times. The thing is, the total document is 49 pages. The actual part of the theory that I kept in one piece is 22 pages. It's quite long. But I actually cut this part because I thought it got confusing if I went that way. So the idea was like with the Orphic creation myth, there's a few different versions, but the one I was thinking of has Phanes as the god of light and creation that exists inside of the world egg. And as soon as it hatches, creation begins. He doesn't actually create anything. Like he's not, Phanes as a deity isn't attributed with like molding humans from clay, as far as I know. It's more like their birth was the start of creation as a whole. Like creation was a phenomenon that happened and they were like the hallmark, like the beginning of it, right? They were the initial spark. So the thing is, in multiple variants of this Orphic myth, Phanes hatches from this world egg or cosmic egg that was laid as a result of the union of the serpent deities, the primordial serpent deities known as Kronos Ion and Ananke. Now, Kronos Ion is the god of time, and Ananke is the god of inevitability or fate. And as you sort of like go through Greek mythology, you'll start to realize that Ananke is actually the mother of the three fates. And I think everyone and their mother basically attributes the Moon Sisters as a sort of three fates for Genshin, right? So when I thought of it that way, things started to kind of make a little bit more sense of like why there would always be a Night Kingdom and a Day Kingdom, sort of, and why they would be in harmony with each other, sort of being in a cyclical form. So Kronos Ion, or time, would be Nibelung in this case, right? So he would be ruling the daytime because he's part of the solar cycle and all that other kind of stuff. He's sort of like the progression of time in the real physical material world, because daytime in this case is actually a metaphor for like the physical world that you're in when you're awake in the daytime. And then Ananke would be his opposite, so more of a darkness goddess that would rule the nighttime. And the thing about nighttime is that nighttime's when you sleep, and with sleep comes dreams. And dreams are uncontrollable and nonsensical, and they're full of crazy things that break every rule imaginable. It's a realm of concepts, just like the Night Kingdom is, right? So my whole thing here is that the birth of Phanes kind of disrupted this balance or cycle. And that's where everything went wrong. But I couldn't really fit that into the theory because it started to make things really complicated, because then you had to start explaining the relationship in game of Phanes versus Ananke versus Kronos Ion Nibelung kind of thing. And it got really weird, and I didn't want to go down that route because I don't know exactly how Genshin wants to approach that, or even if they will. So yeah. Does the Night Kingdom extend outside of Natlan? Not right now, although debatable. Debatable. We could argue. We could argue that. It's possible to argue it. Different Greek myths have different genealogies. Ashkai is talking about the Orphic Greek myths, which is different from the typical Hellenistic Greek myths. Yes. That's why I said it was the Orphic creationist myth. And even among the Orphic myths, there are several variations, some of which do not include Kronos Ion and Ananke. So, like, that's part of the reason why I didn't want to include it in my theories, because I think it started to sort of muddy the waters. But it is where I started with the initial idea, like the concept of it. Have I seen ways child might become a god? Yeah, I helped him write it. Well, I say I helped him write it. I played a very, very minor role. I was talking to him on Discord. He was asking about information about Kabbalah, and I was happy to pass on the information that I knew and soundboard with him a little bit. So I got to sort of watch his creation process, which was pretty fun. When he gets a bee in his bonnet, he just goes to town. It's really funny to watch. He's like, he just like locks in and then just goes boom. It's really funny. And then he just has like these long periods of silence where he doesn't do anything. And I don't know if that's because he's playing other games or anything, but like he works in these really impressive sprint sessions. Oh, I remember what I was trying to do. For the person who was confused, I wanted to just bring this up real quick. So the person I'm talking about here, the Fanas thing I was talking about is this specifically, which is it's a little different from the Hellenistic stuff, as it says right here. So yeah. That was the last theory that I kind of wanted to share with you guys, and it's sort of a preview of where I'm going with my next one. Although this next one takes some unexpected twists. Anyway, I'm done. That's all I have. So I guess I'm gonna go. Dionysus mentioned. Wait, where? Oh, Fane's Dionysus. Yeah, I will eventually write the Dionysus theory. Eventually, I will. I'll do it. You'll see. You'll see. I'll get to it eventually. It's not like I don't have. I have a document that has like, oh, I don't know. I think it's over 100 pages now at this point, full of screenshots and notes about Dionysus and. If you want to know why I have this long document of screenshots of Dionysus, it's because the Greeks accepted and widely recognized that Dionysus is Osiris, and in Genshin, Osiris is my boy Deshret. So, if you're wondering why I went down that hole, Dionysus video is gonna be, no, it's not. Dionysus video is not a Venti video, it's a Deshret video. Nope. Venti's not Dionysus. Nope. See, Venti's funny. Okay, Venti's funny. I love Venti a lot, but like his role is a little bit different. He's not really a chthonic deity. The way that Zhongli and Deshret are, and even to an extent he is a, what do you call them? A psychopomp, which is a little bit different. He's more Orpheus, which is what the Orphic myths are named after, which does make him quite important in the grand scheme of things. Don't get me wrong. He's just not the focus of the whole thing about Dionysus. Because Dionysus's whole thing is that he saves the world through the madness that comes with alcohol. Venti doesn't quite do that. It's not quite his thing. When I say he saves the world with madness, I should say he attempts to save the world with madness. That's more correct. Anyway, Orpheus, Master of Strings, yeah. That's why I'm saying, like, hold on. I know I said that was the last thing, but hold on. I saw a super. Hold on. You see this image? You see this? I'm gonna show you something. I will show you why Venti is Orpheus. Oh, actually, this might be. I might not be able to search for Venti. I might have to do there we go. Right at the top. There's the boy. Take a look at this. Then take a... Not that. Take a look at this. Do you see what Genshin decided to do? Yeah, it's my Orpheus boy. Orpheus of the underworld. Which actually works really well for him because as a fragment, or at least like a follower of Istaroth, of the Thousand Winds, right? Like he's well positioned to have that. Never mind. I can't say that. If I say that, then suddenly I spoil a lot of things. I'm not going to say that. Never mind. I'm going to just leave it at that. I'm just going to say that. Ow, Kona. Holy shit. Thank you for the super. Wow. Thanks. I appreciate that. I hope it lives up to your expectations. I'm quite proud of it. Because it's kind of crazy. Roosevelt, you shut it. You shut it, Roosie. Roosie knows. She read it. I ain't saying shit. I could say shit. Okay, fine. Okay, because of Alcono's generosity, I'll say this. Okay? I'll say this. So, the story of Fischl is supposed to sort of talk about Conria, right? Like, it's heavily implied that everything about Fischl is Conrian. It's kind of talking about that underground nation down there and all that kind of stuff. And Fischl calls that kingdom the Immer Nachtreich, which roughly translates into the Evernight Kingdom. And Conria borders the Abyss, okay? So we've got a Night Kingdom and an Evernight Kingdom to boot. Well, if you go over to Enkanomiya, right? That is another place where we have a very similar structure to the White Sun structure that that Mavuika has over in Natlan. Only it's the Helios this time, right? And it's this underground nation, and that Helios controls the White Knight and the Evernight stage. And it also borders the Abyss. So, if we think of them that way, what other Night Kingdom do we know of that borders the Abyss? We've got the actual Night Kingdom in Natlan. So who's to say that Conria isn't in a Night Kingdom? And that this whole Istaroth thing, since Conria is thought to be like called the betrayal of the winds or traitor of the winds or something along those lines, it depends on who you ask, right? But that's one of the possible translations for it. People think, well, this must be the nation that either betrayed Istaroth or was founded by Istaroth after she betrayed somebody else. So that would make Istaroth Abyss aligned, and actually all of the moons Abyss aligned, which is quite interesting. Although I suppose you could have inferred that from the whole Ananke thing being like the goddess of darkness and that kind of stuff. It's just that like the Night Kingdom is like when it's all in order, as opposed to like the Abyss is obeying its master, whereas the Abyss is like full on chaos, right? Night Kingdom's a bit calmer. It's where you have the ability to control things, sort of like a pre-processing plant. But that puts Venti at a perfect position of being tied to the Abyss and like the true nature of it, and would explain why his tiny little sprite form looks like a tiny little abyssling. There. That was a thing. Anyway, Night Mother. Yeah. Pale Princess Night Mother too. Same thing. Same thing. Anyway, that's part of the reason why I think the Night Kingdom was prolific and not just one thing in Natlan. I think Natlan is just the last one that kind of survives that we know of by that name. And just due to the nature of like how Natlan's history has gone, it was preserved. Anyway, that is a preview of what's to come. That was initially where I was going with the theory, and following that rabbit hole took me to a couple of locations I wasn't expecting. I have a very different view of the game now. So what's Natlan bordering? Why is Natlan borderland? Probably because it's on the edges of Teyvat. That'd be my guess. Kind of like I know Inazuma is still technically Northlander, right? Like they still produce Northlanders. I think Natlan's just a borderlander because it's kind of like on the borders of Teyvat and probably was never like properly completely integrated. Like I think the integration process of the primordial one's whole like conquest, so to speak, didn't quite finish its job in Natlan compared to everywhere else. So yeah. So I gotta give my hope is to have the video finished editing by maintenance on whatever day that is. It's a week from today, I think, right? Like it's the 10th? Is it the 10th? I think it's the 10th? 9th. I think. So my goal is to have it done by then. Hopefully. But if Harley can't for whatever reason, then that's okay. But that's like our current plan. So we'll see how that goes. So, that's all I got. But thank you all very much. And say thank you to Alcono because they're very nice and very generous and they deserve a more gratitude from me. From me. But I'm also gonna ask all of you to help me. So I don't know what else to offer here. You guys are all getting this as a result of me not knowing what to do. So anyway. Oh, Crystal's here too. Yeah. Roosevelt and Crystal are here. I should bring both of you on stream sometime. All three of us would probably be a disaster, but it would be funny and entertaining. But anyway, I'm gonna go. Levi's scratching at the door. I think he wants to come in. So hopefully that was fun. Hopefully hopefully you all had some interesting observations, had some questions answered, and I should be back on schedule here shortly. Yeah, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program. I'm sorry I didn't get to do much Natlan videos yet, but there are plenty more coming. So I'm gonna clock out. I'll see you guys all later. Fare thee well. Bye.